All right, guys. Sorry about the hold up there. I had to make sure I made myself some lunch, which I will demonstrate the glory to you now. It is again my chicken shawarma pita. I made chicken shawarma with lettuce and white sauce and hummus and put in a pita and sriracha. And then I have a Greek salad here with cocktail tomatoes. My camera's kind of freaking out. Cucumbers, red onions, feta cheese. It's delicious. It's delicious and healthy. So we're gonna. I know I said I wasn't gonna do JDG. I know I said I was not gonna do JDG versus FPX, but I lied because those games look really hype, actually. So I gotta find the VODs first. Give me a second, guys. Sriracha. That's how you say sriracha. Papa Smithy. You've been saying it wrong. Is that my HelloFresh meal? Nope. Number one. Gotta find the right YouTube channel, guys, of the Chinese stream. Nightmare and his brother casting those FPS wins last night were fantastic. Well, maybe I just go find. Maybe he's uploaded them already. I'll just watch them off of that. Thank you, the little beast, for your Twitch Prime sub. Because why would we watch it in Chinese when we don't have to? And Nightmare is a good caster. There we go. He's already got him up. We'll just pillage his channel. But you should go subscribe to his channel. Also. Here's his channel that you should subscribe to.
In some ways as well.
And folks, so I'm just gonna see what's happening with the time.
There's my way or the highway. Choose accordingly. Your way is the way of not pronouncing it properly. So I'm going to choose the highway, which is the correct way of pronouncing sriracha. Your way sucks. Yes, I know the results of the matches. Yes, I do. Picking the worst Fanatic game of the weekend. Yeah, you know, some may consider it a bad Fanatic game. I might consider it a good Heretics game. You're on mobile and can't watch Twitch. I hope I read this.
For the second series as well. So we're going to switch over streams now. BLW just gave us a little bit of a hiccup at the end of that last game, but it wasn't too bad. It's been treating us pretty well today. Sometimes it gets a little strange, but
yeah, I think it's fair to say. But I think there's still some truth.
But Nymira has been co-streaming the games, guys, so definitely worth on the Monday, Tuesdays when they don't have LPL streams. So definitely go follow his Twitch stream as well.
Before the nerfs came in on the patch just after that point. It is still however, a pick which Gao has used to superpower Ruler in the bot lane. And now what this potentially means as well is that you put Care on rails a little bit. He's been okay as
Yes, I am actually reading on YouTube. Yes,
He's a
I
mid laner,
do
but he's not
take a look at the YouTube chat as well from time to time.
a superstar, and also opens up something like a carry for Milky Way for him to be empowered by an enchanter mid lane.
The Kindred ban was almost a must against the likes of FPX, especially because even though the Kanavi, obviously famously a big-time Kindred player.
All right, so this is still patch 14.4.
Will that be a bad matchup into something like the Jace? We've seen stuff like the
Early Jax pick's much more prevalent over in the LPL. Thank you, Uber Blacktorn, for your resubscription. I appreciate it.
With that in mind, they're locking in the Lee Sin.
All right, so we are going to have Lee Sin for Kanavi and the Talia pickup. They are hiding where it's probably going to be Karma. I mean, it's going to be Karma support. Could be Jax jungle as well for Milky Way. So interesting little flex right there.
But if that does happen, it means that you can flex things around a little bit more. Jason to mid or top.
Canyon has also been playing Jax jungle.
Well, I think right now that we're pretty set on this being the top side of the map, with all of these players showcasing these before.
It does feel that way, and actually...
Oh, sorry, actually, I say that. Actually, no Jace top lane for Shallow, who, yes, that would be new for him.
It would be clear options that deal with the Jace better early, like the really
but the Karma could be a support flex as well. Probably just going to be care on Karma. Look, guys, I anticipate that this is a jungle Jax, which is what ends up getting locked in, because they're trying to power up Milky Way here, provide carry potential for him, and we have Dokdam on Zeri for some scaling in the bot side. They're going to have to play very passively, most likely in this lane in the early game, and they're going to play Malphite into Jace in the top side.
The absolute opposite end of the mechanical spectrum and goes towards the
Is going to be hard to actually get into the back line, though, onto the Zeri as a Malphite. Seems pretty dodgeable, honestly.
Have one shot at this Zeri at the start of a team fight, then after that point, you have to get through this very obnoxious front line of the Alistar ultimate, and then maybe even the Jax popping his ult too.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I actually love the Malphite here.
Absolutely shot of and shut this Jace.
Zeri and Alistar is pretty okay. Of course, Zeri and Alistar not the easiest to dive, though it has to be said, between Alistar's ability to throw down a lot of CC.
Would I consider Gen G the best team in the world after a win over T1, or do I have BLG? Gen G will be #1 on the newest power rankings I do this week, guys.
Select their lane. Do you want to play your strong side? But if you do that, are you leaving the Jace with potentially a Jax turning up as well in too even a position to make Flandre's life too hard? I will be interested to see what the decisions are, because I can see value in both.
Another thing here too, so we see the Aerie coming out of Malphite. This is a thing which we sometimes see against Kennen lanes, because Kennen, if he ever gets hit by the Q, can just press his E and then speed out of the Comet. Now, the thing with Jace is that you can form change, put your acceleration gate down sometimes, and escape the Comet, so you never get Comet value in lane. So see how much Flandre can get work done with that area. I think that's a slight micro-optimization. Again, this early laning phase from topside from Shallow, who does play a lot of duelists, actually. Yeah, he's been one of the big Fiora players. He plays some of the Jax. He's played a lot of these duelists before. Let's see if he can get shut down by Flandre, who, again, historically has been someone who's done very well in 1v1 laning phases. And it's not really going to be about top lane for this very early game, though, as the ward drop down on that bot side buff. Kanavi going to be starting Raptors.
Is, and of course that has become more and more regular, that junglers do not get leashes from their lanes, but how important laning's been. Now actually, honestly, easier it is for junglers to clear the jungle without feeling like they've lost so much health, lost so much tempo by clearing by themselves, and starting on that side, looking to path towards the bot lane where they've got hopefully some of that early pressure.
One thing too is that actually that ward that was put down at level 1 was swept out by JDG. So they actually end up clearing that ward very early on, which means that Kanavi will have a little bit more room to maneuver in regards to some of these surprise ganks. And again, we need to really see what happens in this top lane. I think bot lane, because it's Alistar versus Nautilus, you can have 2v2 kills, and I expect Ruler and Missing to put pressure down there. But it's not this level 2v2 fist fight that we see from like the Callistas and the Lucians of the world.
Jax starting on this bot side, soloed out the red buff, now heading up towards his Raptors. Mirrored jungle pathing, heading in those opposite directions. The flash for the headbutt, flash away from Missing into the hook. Missing just doesn't live up to his namesake and hits that one like a bullseye. Will still be a trade of summoners even enough.
He hits a bullseye on the bull's eye, hits him in the face. And that was a fantastic flash away. Again, we said that this 2v2 is not really the kill lane.
Summoners even Ooh. Flash for the headbutt. Flash away from
Oh,
missing into
missing.
the hook. Missing just doesn't live up to his namesake and hits that one like a bullseye. Will still be
Not really the kill lane of the Callistas or your Dravens, but these players make it work.
Oh, that hook is so fantastic. And Life just steps beyond and leaves Doctor out to dry just a little bit there.
So this is why in the preview to this series I said, hey, okay, so you have Milky Way, fantastic player of the game, maybe best jungler in the LPL right now. There's a question mark about that. I think he's definitely put his name on.
The Milky Way Kanavi matchup is very tantalizing, guys.
What happens in this 2v2? Life has looked good on some of the
JDG has generally not been as good as BLG or top esports, however. Like, Flandre has been fine, Yagao has been fine, but, I mean, you have to be more than fine in your solo lanes in order to really contest for the top of the league.
Untenable. Kanavi comes down, level 3 to level 2, absolutely destructive.
So Zeri actually just recalled early, got boots, comes back, but the dive goes through.
Still has the spark surge to get over the wall.
Whoop, flashes out of Q.
Still has flash and still get the kill and get on out. 2 for 1. Dive success.
Ruler or Kanavi didn't have to use flash there though, which is pretty nice.
Hold it out in the pregame. What happens if Ruler gets snowballed?
Okay, so Milky Way does have a chance to then make a cross map towards top side. It's a fairly high HP Malphite, but he has no item stun lands.
And the flash doesn't really amount to all that much. Milky Way will need to flash, will die.
Does have a chance to then make a cross map towards top side. It's a fairly high HP Malphite, but he has no item stun lands.
And the flash doesn't really amount to all snowball.
Okay, so Milky Way does have a chance to then.
So we're gonna cross map here.
It's a fairly high HP Malphite, but he has no item stun.
He flashes into stun.
Make a cross map towards top side. It's a fairly high HP Malphite, but he has no item.
I mean, he flashes out of Xiaolaohu's engaged, but it puts him right in range of the counter-strike. So I do trade 1-for-1 in the end.
I think that's a mistake here. I think that giving the gold over to Milky Way instead of Xiaolaohu completely tips this matchup. Flandre can teleport in with the wave not crashed under turret and get huge items. Care's left out to dry. He's going to get killed here. Kanavi still has flash.
Missing gets the Hexlash in as well on the reset from his death. They get another kill. That's a kill in every lane effectively for JDG. Already the snowball begins.
I mean, the dive is okay, I think, for topside, because you are getting gold onto the Jax early.
I think that's a mistake here. I think that giving the gold over to Milky Way instead of Xiaolaohu completely.
And the wave is going to push out, so Jace doesn't have to TP back.
Care's left out to dry. He's going to get killed here. Kanavi still has flash.
Missing has an opportunity to roam into the mid lane, however. The Nautilus roams are going to be pretty brutal this game just because there's not a lot of kill threat, I don't think, on the bot side. The Varus, the Varus is going to have the poke damage at least. So he actually does use the TP to get back into lane for the Jace. I don't think it's a freeze, though.
Which we said, look, this is going to be a huge issue.
Yeah, we don't need to see this replay.
I just wonder if he should have just died with peace at that point.
Yeah, it is pushing back out, as we see in the top side. So now actually Xiaolaohu has a chance to potentially freeze this wave. So wave state is actually very good for Xiaolaohu after that dive, and they did trade the 1-for-1, except they got an assist. So it's pretty good for the Jace overall. Jace still has flash as well, whereas Flandre used his, so it's kind of a potentially vulnerable position.
He stacks up armor, he maxes up his W. In this game, you very much max the W as well. All
right, Jace has to back off the wave. He actually can't tank the wave, so it is going to go into the turret. Oh my god. Milky Way is standing on a ward.
Especially against multiple auto attackers and things get nasty, but Yagao might have to flash.
Yagao still gets rooted after flash, so Milky Way is able to flash leap strike in and get the double stun. That's a mistake, Yagao.
With the leap strike, it is just a wonderful kill onto Yagao, and now Kanavi in a
holy moly, he actually gets the tether root there even after the flash. The timing was bad from Yagao.
And now the flash counter strike with the leap strike, it is just a wonderful kill onto Yagao, and now Kanavi in a dangerous position. But they
tried to bait that out. I mean, they knew Milky Way was there from the ward in the brush.
Disrespectful from Yagao. You just got to get the hell out of dodge as soon as Milky Way goes forward. Maybe worried that there would have been a flash follow from Care, but all the same, Yagao goes down, and that's important because, again, it feels like, particularly with Flandre getting that kill, trading for Milky Way, this Malphite will be a huge issue. The fact that
that's pretty bad, though, because Yagao now has no flash for follow-up ganks from Jax and Karma, and the speed and gap closers on those champions for those ganks pretty good.
coming on over. Your Gal back in lane means there is just this mismatch. Grub will reset. Docdam gets away from the hook. Life goes over. Down has come Care, and that's put Ruler in a difficult position. Nowhere really to go. Gets rooted. Flashes on forward. Does not get the
Gives
kill.
a kill
Zeri
over
gets that one, and Ruler burns
to
Summer as well.
Docdam.
Important play in the bot side.
So that's something back. Care getting onto the map. It's not even the junglers doing this. It's not going to lead to anything more at this point. Docdam now with 2 kills behind in CS, and you have to, understand that, Ruler being on the poke, Varus can really start, again, forcing Docdam into awkward situations. Flandre low HP, Kanavi on top side, but on vision. That's why Shallow, who's not necessarily going too hard. Ult comes in. Here's Milky Way.
Oh, Flandre gets baited, outsmarted. The counter-strike is there.
Into awkward situations. Flandre low HP, Kanavi on top side, but on vision. That's why Shallow, who's not necessarily going too hard. Ult comes. Understand that Ruler being on the poke, Varus can really start.
This is so bad from Flandre, by the way. You're basically just hoping that Zhao Lao, who doesn't have hands, is not going to flash this.
That's why Shallow, who's not necessarily going to.
Like, what? You don't have flash up.
Ult comes in.
Milky Way could absolutely be there.
Baited, outsmarted. The counter-strike is there. Navi takes the cue.
No man on Zhao Lao,
I
who.
don't think he's getting anything more.
We'll see if Yagao ults over.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Straight in it. He is going. He's following it. How much can he do here? He's caught Shallow under the turret.
Shallow in a different
Kara's coming up.
But the wall now down. Shallow trying to play this one out. Just clear most of the wave. I think he gets to back away. How close is Kanavi to 6?
To see, it's pretty close from the looks of it, as Milky Way has 6 right now. Shallow, he is saved by his support roaming up. Care, bot lane, straight up to top lane as well. He's been on the roam despite not having the global himself. I love that we are getting a fast-paced early game.
You know, guys, later this week on my stream, I might just do a day where we just look at Milky Way's play.
How those first kills went,
like, just do a bunch of, just watch his pathing and, like, just really dig into why Milky Way is so good.
Is immediate, and it keeps the timer ticking a little longer for FPX.
The fact that Jax has all of
Do you guys want that? Let me know.
Melee players on JDG. Great flash from Shallow.
Subscribe if you want that.
Saying, if this keeps happening, Milky Way can keep doing this.
And so, Shallow, who first Jace game of the split, gets himself a decent play on that top side. He's not got the individual gold from either of these players top side. That's on Milky Way, so feels like Milky Way is the one that's going to have to take up the carry of the burden of carrying once more. He's done that with real grace this split. It feels like he has really been so reliable. For Shallow, who I am worried for how useful he will be. Doesn't have a CS lead. He hasn't got any plates on top side.
Aim Bob! Thank you for your Twitch Prime sub.
Getting to the point where Malphite can just ignore the Jace.
For a little while, you're kind of waiting at that point on the 3-item mark when the armor penetration comes on through, and Jace kind of has his revival in the game, especially if it doesn't snowball. The late game scalings on Jace now feel a lot more deadly.
Max range ult, Malphite ult, and Vision is a little questionable. It was incredibly questionable. Martel Boss 08, thank you for your Twitch Prime sub.
Chance of Care flash Wing and maybe looking for a slow into it. You can see that he's going forward right now. Hits him with the mantra. Milky Way does a lot of damage right now, by the way. He's got himself up to decent components, not on his full Triforce just yet. I wonder if we could be seeing another reprisal of Milky Way's Jax like you saw against BLG, and he just starts getting into all of these fights. Dragon goes down to the side of JDG. Grubs, of course, 2 for 1. To the side of FPX right now. Typically when you see a Lee Sin, they often hop over the wall, especially on red side. They hop over the wall and they get one of them is knocked down. Skips away from
Man meet man. Thank you for your Twitch Prime sub. Man meet man likes milk man. He's a food man enthusiast.
It's not going to be that helpful once you get to 2-3 items on Nazarius. Docdam just playing with fire here.
Docdam has kills, but he's pretty far behind in farm. This is Chuck99. Thank you for your Twitch Prime sub. Is this the year 8 Asian teams make quarters at Worlds? No, because Swiss is a butt-cheek system. And also, inevitably, you know, one of the Asian teams will choke and have a bad tournament.
I mean, the CS lead that we had from early game was basically held even. What that means is that Docdam hasn't lost any more than they were from that first couple of levels.
Jay said Vision on Lee and Malf didn't know that. Otherwise, trading ult for Flash is a good trade, but you have to know that Milky Way isn't there, which they didn't know. So, yeah, I mean, it's a risk that they took, and they just got clapped for it.
Just really feels like that Zeri can get to that dangerous point where they hit critical mass a little later again. JDG's combo very potent if you hit it, and it's very easy to hit it if you've blown all the flashes. How likely is that going to happen? How likely is that you're going to blow those summoners, though, to set up for that play? Milky Way is on vision, which means that JDG won't push up.
He's like on vision this whole game, guys, and he still makes plays. What's crazy about him is that he made that play in mid lane even when they knew exactly where he was. Okay, so it's going to be 3, 4 grubs maybe for JDG, or 3 for each. 3 for each, looking like. Jax with a very 10-minute Trinity Force, pretty crazy.
Worth noting that it really felt like JDG had good information on
really a battle of the junglers too, considering 6 out of the 9 kills are on the junglers right now. That was a pretty fun game if you're a Milky Way enthusiast, and how could you not be at this point in time, guys? Who among you is not a Milky Way believer? Heresy. Konami have flash up for this? Or, I mean, does Xiaolo have flash up for this? It looks like he does. I guess he just chooses not to flash it? Oh, he doesn't have flash yet? It's really hard to tell. Oh, I think he's like I think the flash timer's just barely not up. No, I think it came up right there. I think it came up right there, guys. It's hard to tell, but I think it's up now. It just came up.
To get on top lane.
There's still no flash quite yet from Xiaolo, who's just saying, look, I'm dead. I'll clear out the wave best I can. Dies. Kanavi turns up topside. This time, Milky
So I think he had it up.
And you can see what Xiaolo was doing. So he needed that wave in so he could finally reset. That was Eclipse Gold. You know why he's there. Yeah. But that's sometimes the top laner.
Milky Way candy bars are trash? Come on, they're nougat and caramel. They're pretty good.
Because Flandre has teleport. He's holding on to his teleport.
Easier to see in the bottom left.
Information on where Milky Way was. Milky playstyle this year is that they don't.
Except they don't click on him.
Errors. They try to get on top lane.
There's still no flash quite yet from Xiaolo, who's just saying, look, I'm dead.
I think he does have flash up, but they don't click on him, so we'll never know.
The full level over the Jace. It's about half a level right now, I'd imagine. It feels like Flandre will be such.
Just getting trolled by Twitch chat as usual.
In team fights, there are ways to deal with him. Zeri has good mixed damage, and Karma can kind of buff up the targets initiated onto as well. I don't think this Malphite will necessarily have.
How long has Milky Way been a pro player? A couple of months.
Well, Flandre goes back, gets himself a full Sunfire cape.
Any chance there's a guest the next SI? No, that's happening tonight.
Faces life hell in the individual matchup.
100 gold lead to a Malphite and a Jace lane feels pretty bad. Of course, if Xiaolo, who gets time to play alone in lanes, claims some gold back himself, will still be able to be a problem in the side lanes. And actually, a little bit of poke is no bad thing into some of the squishier members of the back line. But
Twix is great.
kind of just gets to ult on
Snickers is my go-to, guys. I'm a Snickers fan.
Both junglers really being the ones who have been the recipients of all the early gold. Towards the bot lane we pan, the camera highlighting us from up in the heavens here as we throw down some words of wisdom to all of you. We have got a brief moment of calm before Dragon spawning in a minute or so. Milky Way's taking this opportunity to look top lane.
So he's looking just to see if he can buy himself a wave crash, maybe get into the enemy jungle to get himself ahead of the game as well. He's a little bit far.
Yes, the Snickers ice cream bars are great.
But this is the thing, right? JDG, they've actually been a very organized team. They've not necessarily been very fast-paced compared to a top esports or, of course, FPX, but they have been a team which stays the course very well. They don't tend to kind of like play these undisciplined fights where they just randomly give up kills. Typically, they've been very good at keeping themselves and their summoners very, very close to their chest and then waiting for that one big fight. It actually reminds me a lot of how JDG used to play when they had Yagao before 2023, when they were playing with the 2022 era and before. Of course, you know, you've got a number of these players who are now 3-peat champions, clearing out the way, but no tower aggro.
Tries to go for the
Yeah, no need to flash that because if Kanavi isn't there and you have Milky Way backing you up, which he was in lane while he was pushed, you just get out ult for free.
But Milky Way saying, look, we're not in a position to fight. Wave shoved in bot. Let's just claim Herald. Xiaolo who's resetting anyway.
I don't think
Milky Way just gets free Herald. He knows Lee Sin is bot side, and now there's a Malphite, no flash, and Xiaolo who has TP to come back in.
JDG, we'll get to see what our rift is, and it is a Mountain Soul. So it's going to be Mountain Soul. I know you can't always see that logo up in the top left, but That's the one that we've got here. That is very, very important. If Malphite starts getting this Mountain Soul, if you have the Nautilus and the Lee Sin getting a little bit tankier as well, it's going to be that more brazen when they're looking for the engage. Those individual dragons doing an awful lot. First item's now being hit across the board, though. Shiv, very important for Zeri. Helps you with your kind of stacking up of Chain Lightning between your ultimate and then also the Shiv as you go into these...
Poke Varus doesn't seem to do much past laning phase. They don't have to have a lot of damage, guys. There's not going to be anybody who's super tanky on the side of FPX. Plus, you could potentially buy Serpent's Fang here as well. But I think it's fine. A lot of comps don't have a lot of tankiness these days. And Alistar's kind of only situationally tanky when he's ulting.
Able to get just more kind of AoE auto damage down onto the waves as Zeri, and when you've kind of been, particularly in that bot lane, held under tower a bit. Yes, you've survived a lane which looked pretty dicey after some of the early plays from JDG. You can
Mountain Soul for Malphite, obviously pretty darn good though.
Of the game feels like it potentially docked out.
Shallow Hoop. Got to be aware that Flandre has ult again now. You can see that there is some shallow vision that's just come in from JDG, from FPX rather, onto the top side of the map. Considering how badly the early game went in terms of trading 1-for-1, giving Flandre a bit more gold, and then of course Shallow Hoop dying a little later. They've done okay in this side lane matchup. Care gets caught by a combo. Is that realistically going to get more? Yes, it is. Good damage.
Here, but it's just too late. Nearly a nice kind of response from FPX to be in the right kind of space, but the combo was just too fast. It was just too much damage.
The other thing is Milky Way and Life, they show on that play as well, which means that now JDG know there is no counterplay. Flandre is ulted top lane. You can see that Shallow Hoop is on very low HP comparative. So Flandre says, okay, well, there's no one going to punish me for not having this ult up. I don't have teleport to influence the rest of the map. Flandre doing well to just making sure that Shallow, who doesn't get maximum value out of this isolated lane, and Yagao will take first turret of the game in bot side and get himself ahead of the curve.
Momentary lapse there from FPX, weren't quite fast enough to defend the play that they knew was likely coming. You can see by the response from Milky Way and Life, we'll see it here. They are on their way, they're on the screen even. Milky Way is waiting and just not fast enough.
I think that when you've got Milky Way with this huge item power spike and flash, you just hope
from Milky Way and Life. We'll
it's a nice engage on the Care.
The screen even. Milky Way is waiting and just not fast enough.
I think that when you've got Milky Way with this
good combo with missing.
Flash, you just hope
pretty disrespectful to walk up though. Timing wasn't exactly there.
You maybe just trying to, we were saying this earlier, had the Oscars last night. We're trying to have ourselves some award-winning performances.
Will you have Trolley sponsorship again? We're talking to them again. They were very happy with the sponsorship the last time, so.
And they are a team which likes to play fast. They have item break points as well. Feels like while the game's slowing down, you're buying time for Ruler to get a chance.
Maybe they'll come back this summer.
Get himself in for an ultimate position. That's what they're doing. Shallow Who, he's going to flash over the wall. Again, this is a problem. FPX, they don't really want to be playing to the beat of JDG's drum, and yet they are.
Shallow Who is once again in this position where, oh my days,
Who he's going to flash over the wall.
Wow.
Again, this is a problem.
This is really a fun game to watch between Kanavi and Milky Way.
Shallow Who is once again in this position where, oh my days, phenomenal Kanavi. Again, this is a problem. Once again, in this position where,
wow.
The beat of JDG's drum, and yet they are.
Just gets him on the recall. The ward is already there, guys. He uses the ward that's already there to W flash kick Q1, Q2.
Just steps in and kicks Zeri into the dirt.
Oh, who's been talking smack about Kanavi? He comes in on his...
What a fun game to watch. This is actually a banger.
He is not taking any prisoners this game. Dockdown, we talked some good stuff about his Zeri, but we said that occasionally he's had some awkward moments. And Dockdown, why the hell is he recalling that? Big moment here from JDG. Punishes one moment. You can see that now Shallow, who without flash on top side, he can't even walk up towards the top tower. JDG, big moment for them to control this top side of the map.
Shallow, who was about to say the man has been trying to clear out waves best he can, but you just looked at the blue side control from JDG. The man saw nothing and was so trepidatious in stepping up to the lane and immediately gets jumped on, and then they go back towards the mid lane, and JDG in this mid game needs to pop off a little bit. Ruler does need to be a little afraid. Is he going to have to flash? No, gets to walk away.
Yeah, I think a good ward hop placement can be. We have a lot of course, previous LCK players and of course some LCK champions in here as well. Hello there, Ruler. But back in the day, some people might not remember this. Does anyone out there as part of the OGN Legion watching the early seasons of Korean League of Legends? There was a term which it's kind of fallen to the annals of time, the annals of history, of the OGN recall, where Korean players were really, really good, but they'd also just randomly recall in stupid spots and die for it. I feel like we still have a little bit of that in some of our now LCK players.
Oh boy, the thing is, it's not the worst recall position I've ever seen. You know what I mean? There was some thought process to
Anyway,
it.
we've got ourselves a dragon spawning as well. Probably more important things to talk about. Now, JDG, they have a lot of flashes available. Importantly, not on Kanavi. And now you look at the side of the carry into the.
Let's look at the setup of this a little bit.
Remember this from just any distance, absolutely slams Doctor.
So push forward.
Doctor was next to a wall. Walk away.
Yeah, I think he ended up popping the Yomus to get into that position. Might have ran out just towards the end of that play, but good.
Ruler does need to be a little afraid. Is he gonna have to flash? No, gets to walk away.
Okay, so there's a recall. There's a recall by Ruler right there, which means that we do have some priority in the river from Fun plus Phoenix.
Good, but they'd also just randomly recall in stupid spots.
And they use the Herald just to provide the pressure right at the Drake spawn, even though they're not going to get
it's not the worst recall position
any of the Void Mites right there to go along with it, but they already have river control, and they're getting some good damage in from Jace Poke on the front line.
They have a lot of flashes. It also just
Itemization now is Sunfire, Frozen Heart complete for Malphite. Jace at 2 items, Muramana Eclipse.
Randomly recall in stupid spots and die for it. I feel like we still have a little bit of that in some of our now LCK players.
Poke battle between the Opportunity Varus and the 2-item Jace.
Position I've ever seen. You know what I mean? There was some thought process to
anyway,
it.
we've got ourselves a dragon spawning as well. Probably more important things to talk about. Now, JDG, they have a lot of flashes available. Importantly, not on Kanavi.
They can't pressure Baron because it still has 30 seconds until spawn.
Shallow, who importantly, no flash. Dogdam, if he ends up escaping the engage, I think he can run over the back end of this fight. So all eyes on Dogdam. He did keep his summoners from the last play.
Level 11 as well. Kanavi at 12. Second ranks, there's ultimates could prove very valuable. Missing. Hunting for a hook, yet to land one. Pretty close so far. Flandre will take the opportunity to step forward. Actually, may have gone a bit deep, but doesn't take all that much damage as yet. Another hook goes wide. That's Life's aftershock, I believe.
Okay, they haven't really used a lot yet. Life hasn't had to ult yet. Got some poke damage down onto Flandre.
If a fight goes badly enough, that might be part of the
Okay, they're on a ward right there. They know where they are. Flandre's going to get stunned. Stun locked, actually. Forced to flash. Nice. Flandre has TP, but he has no flash now.
He knows that's his combat advantage. He's going.
Really good discipline. No ults used by Fun plus Phoenix yet.
But is the dragon going to be gone by the time he's here?
Flash in from Life is flashed away from Ruler. Down to 2,000 HP as a dragon.
Okay, so Life knows that with this wall coming in, Kara's not going to be there. So he actually has to go in and zone using Alistar ult, which he's held this entire time, to buy time for Kara to get past the wall. Milky Way gets it. Nice Malfault, though. Huge Malfault. So Flandre just powers into this fight, finds a great angle.
Flandre to the backside. Shoot! It's a dragon. Kanavi to the backside. Does not get that much value. Dragon take it.
Milky Way actually tries to flash out of this because he sees it coming, but he flashes on top of his teammates and so does actually get hit by it. It's amazing nobody gets killed off of that. But there's no actual damage follow-up there. Ruler doesn't... It'd be amazing if Ruler still had Chains of Corruption, but he doesn't have it up. When did he use it? We used it somewhere around here. There it is. Oh, he tried to catch Life with it. That's actually bad, because the only thing that would have happened is he would have just forced Life's ult, and that's not a good trade. I don't like that chain attempt by Ruler.
Flashes over the wall. Hook on the other side of the care to little avail. No one really able.
But is the dragon
huge unstoppable force? But dragon take it. Flandre to the backside.
Oh, Milky Way wasn't hit by it. He actually flashed out of it. So he had the reflexes in order to flash out of it. That's really nice. It's only a 2-man.
He can do, and FPX do get out. Yagao flashes forward, gets a seismic shove. Ruler can start to do something back. This arrow could prove deadly until the shield comes on through. Karma's defiance enough to keep Zeri out of danger.
So
that was a fun fight to watch.
Like overall, I think that was the grand total, the grand tally of that fight. Yes. So Dogdam.
Karma's damage he can do, and FPX do get out.
It wasn't really possible to follow up on this, right? You know, Kanavi dies.
Does not get that much value. From Life is flashed away from Ruler. Down to 2,000 HP as a dragon. Kanavi to the backside. Does not get that much.
He tries to kick Milky Way.
2000 HP as a dragon. Kanavi into the backside. Does not get that much value. Dragon take it.
Goes
Echo
Flandre.
Ruler down to 2000 HP as a dragon. Kanavi into the backside. Does not get
Who does he kick?
that much value. Dragon take it.
Goes
Echo
Flandre.
Ruler down to 2000 HP as a dragon.
That
Kanavi
looked
into the
really
backside.
weird. Oh, he kicked Milky Way, I guess.
Not get that much value. Dragon take it.
Goes
Echo
Flandre.
down
But he
to
doesn't
2000
actually
HP as a
kick
dragon.
Milky
Kanavi into the
Way
backside. Does not get that much value.
into
Dragon take
anything.
it.
Goes
Echo
Flandre.
to the backside. Huge unstoppable force. But Dokdam is alive. From Ruler down to 2000 HP as a dragon. Kanavi into the backside. Does not get that much value. Dragon take it.
Goes Flandre.
To the backside. Huge unstoppable force.
Talia a W overrides the kick. Yeah, I think that's what happens because he uses the cooldown, but Milky Way gets hit by the Talia W onto the E, and you see that the kick is used. But I think because Talia's already moving him, it doesn't kick him. It doesn't kick him out this way, is what it looks like to me. So instead, he's actually able to leap strike Kanavi. That's actually pretty huge. He doesn't get kicked out, so instead he's able to get over the wall to get the stun onto Kanavi, which kills Kanavi. Because he leap strikes over the wall as Lee Sin comes over to hop onto a ward.
But Dokdam is alive. Look at how much damage he can do, and FPX do get out.
Yeah, and Zeri getting the kill there is obviously huge. It's a lot of bounty gold.
Karma's defiance, enough to keep Zeri out of danger.
So, Dragon for 1, it looks like overall. I think that was the grand total, the grand tally of that fight.
Yes.
So, Dokdam not able to get the fight which he wanted. Also, Summoners, importantly, away from multiple members on FPX. Feels like JDG, next time they square up, it will be much harder for them to pull that off again. They walk away with the objective. They stop that Mountain Dragon in terms of the stats going over, and of course, also the soul point alongside it. Close run things. We are not really that much closer to determining the outcome of this game. Yagao kind of zones off care from the rest of it. Life just tries to buy some time and stop there being a clean Lee Sin Q onto the dragon and stuff like that. It gets a little bit dangerous for a while. See that Flandre doesn't end up hitting Dokdam. Importantly, it means that he can kind of start turning and burning. He doesn't quite have the items just yet, though, to take over the fight from that kind of position. He backsteps out, cleanses away, maybe thinks he can get a bit more damage onto Yagao. Just about misjudges that one. Does walk away with his life.
Can't try and dash away, of course, with the Spark Surge, because the Unraveled Earth's behind him, so you would stun yourself. So
Well, that's
his
what
only real way is forwards briefly there.
Well, he ends up like dashing forward and then cleansing anyway. So he
Yeah.
ends up going through it all the same. He just says like, the only way through it, I'm going to try and get myself some kills with it. He does get 2 items now, though. Ruler didn't quite... Oh!
Wait, the people here! The shields! He's gone too deep! Kanavi's going to be in trouble. He burned the flash for this one. Remember, no one else has got a bloody flash in the game. Kanavi misses his Q, but still just about alive. Dokdam! Not quite dead. He get down to sub 5 HP.
Yeah, he gets kicked. Yeah, he gets kicked, but then the Talia shove overrides it. I think that's what happened.
Oh!
Wait, the people here! The shields!
Cleansing anyway. So he ends up going through it all the same. He just says like, the only way through it, I'm going to
You can't dodge Lee Sin kick with Counter-Strike, guys. You can only dodge basic attacks.
Wait, the people here!
Oh my god, Dokdam gets over the wall.
Kanavi's going to be in trouble. He burned the flash for this one. Remember, no one else
Now
has
he's
got a bloody
dead.
flash in the game. Kanavi misses his Q, but still just
Or not.
about alive.
Oh!
Not quite dead. He
Holy
Q,
shit,
but still
actual 1
just
HP.
about alive. Dokdam! Not quite dead. Kanavi misses his Q, but still
I love look at the damage from the opportunity Q. Lol.
Kanavi misses his Q, but still just about alive. No one else has got a bloody flash in the game. Kanavi misses his Q, but still just about alive.
Chain of Corruption misses again, though.
Not quite dead. He get down to sub 5 HP. Everyone's alive.
Oh my
heart's
god. You know, it's often said if you swing at the king, you best not miss. You can't do that against a ruler either. Very, very nearly take. I don't think JDG have the Baron damage to really take down that one in quick order.
You think Chain hit Zeri?
Not quite dead. Gone too
No.
deep. Kanavi's going to be in trouble. He burned the flash for this one. Remember, no one else has got a bloody flash in the game. Kanavi misses his Q.
Oh, it did hit him. All right, that's why he gets hit by the Q. You're right. It did hit him.
Not
It just didn't
quite
spread
dead.
afterwards.
He get down to sub 5 HP.
You are right.
Everyone's alive.
Oh my
heart's
god.
Do these English casters live where the games are taking place? No, they live in Berlin.
Very, very nearly
All of the
take
LPL
down
casters are remote in Europe or in America.
The cavalry comes in to support him as he escapes Kanavi. What does this mean, though? You've got a couple of recalls coming in from FPX. I don't think JDG have the Baron damage to really take down that one in quick order. It's not like you have yourself, you know, an on-hit Rage Blade. Varus, it's the poke one. God damn, things are getting close, though. I think a lot of this is based around the vision.
This is also not an official cast, no, because they're not casting LPL every day of the week right now. So I think Monday, Tuesdays, maybe Wednesdays. Is it 2 or 3 days? I think they only do 4 days a week. I could be wrong on the official cast. So I think it's Monday. It's either Monday, Tuesdays or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays that it's just co-streamers.
Ruler that keeps the jungler alive, and the turnaround damage was nearly more than enough to get knocked down.
Dom moved to Germany just for the spring. I think until MSI, guys. He's not moving there permanently. I think it's just for fun because he wants to hang out with Gilius, and also because the time zone in Europe is much better. So he doesn't have to wake up at 3 a.m. to do Asian leagues. What canceled Jace's TP? Malfight? It was Malfault. You can see Malfault in the bottom right corner.
Trading things back can't quite end up getting a kill either way.
From Ruler that keeps the jungler alive, and the turnaround damage was nearly more than enough to get knocked down. In the end, it wasn't quite enough. Missing. Gets missed with the Ultra Shock laser. Vision control now, the name of the game is Shallow, who once again on the weak side of this case, desperately trying to play reasonably with a lack of vision control.
He's trying his absolute best.
As a late night NA gamer, the stream being up hits the spot. Very good. And yes, I stream on Twitch with a VPN. It's not hard, guys. Although they said that Twitch was discontinuing service in Korea, but I can still watch Twitch without a VPN in Korea, so I don't really know. I guess they just meant that they weren't going to, like, allow streamers to get paid with a Korean bank account anymore to discourage Korean viewership. But it's pretty weird. Because I thought they were concerned about having to pay for bandwidth fees for people watching from Korea. Who knows?
Make sure that the fight wins one before that. Varus ult misses.
This mid lane contest, both turrets still standing, is huge. And FPX down about 1,000.
Asked a question about making an ultimate format video for reference. Yes. We may be able to do that for you.
We've gone for this big shotgun comp. We've gone for the Lee Sin, and yes, the Lee Sin snowball, but
that's probably a project for while we're not in the middle of the season right now.
An assassination potential from Kanavi, though, who's spotted out on that ward, and he will hit a Q over. He's going to follow it. No, he won't, but the hook lands missing, going very low.
Life in turn pops his own ultimate, the Unbreakable Will. Does enough to keep the cow from being thrown on a barbecue.
A plaintive moo comes across as you talk about him.
We'll see how close this is to the actual Mountain Drake spawn here.
Great wave control. This is a big thing. JDG, normally with the Varus, you expect yourself to be able to have lots of mid lane control. Zeri clears waves so quickly with his item builder. It's very hard to have that for any extended period of time. It means that FPX, they can kind of like waits for JDG to push the wave first, but then immediately respond and then returns the objective after that point. Doctam at 3 and 2 has a decent amount of golden pockets, actually ahead of Ruler individually.
The LCK streams are not going to be longer. No, the LCK will stay on Twitch.
This is the kind of match I want to see. I didn't want this to be a blowout. I wanted this to be a close affair. See how tense it's getting. Both of them fighting over mid lane prio. I think JDG are making a bit of a mistake with this, though.
Are you still moving to Colorado? Yes, but I'm going to stay in Korea for longer. There's no point in me going back to Colorado right now because I don't want to buy a house at current mortgage interest rates. And I can live in Korea for, like, virtually no money. So I will come to Colorado, but it may not be for a year or two.
Enough entry into this river. Do they lose this tower? Again, look how
we'll just see how LFN is doing and you know, how not crazy expensive it will be for me to purchase a house again.
Good position, potentially force out a fight.
I'll talk about it after this game.
Both shoving in, so FPX can't spend forever doing this. So they will take the mid lane tier 1, their first turret of the game, but it comes at a hefty cost. That is Mountain Soul Point for JDG.
So I think FPX, this time I think they're happy for the trade, because you get yourself that mid lane out of turret, and that'll make it harder for JDG to put down the same wards they've been using to get good angles for Kanavi or missing on the flank to, you know, get onto Doctam in the mid lane. It's going to be hard to do that now. Look at all these wards in the mid lane on the minimap. Just cast your eyes down there. Those blue wards used to be red. That was where JDG was holding that kind of information warfare battle. FPX have fought back in it. I think it's great to see that FPX have not only been a snowbally team that can accelerate the pace of the game, but actually in a situation like this too, can slow things down and play things out in a more measured way. JDG, they typically run this style of game. They're very good at being disciplined. They don't throw things at you. They don't overcommit to fights very often. You can see in that last fight, you know, Yagao throws out an ultimate, doesn't lead to that much. I don't think his ultimate been that great, but at least he's not overcommitting on them or forcing his team to overcommit onto them as well. Gold lead effectively non-existent, and we are going to get ourselves two of our top teams in the LPL showing off in late game team fights to see who can come out on top in game 1.
Mortal Shield Bow is in for Dockdown now as well. That much harder to get a hold of his Flash and Cleanse. Zeri at this point in the game, unbelievably slippery. There's a Karma and an Alistair to try and buy space. Hell, even Milky Way on this Jax. You overdive. His ability to counter-engage is not to be dissuaded. Third item complete from Shallow, who has kind of been the kind of unfortunate sacrifice to the way FPX had to play out the early game. He's now online as well.
Worth noting that the Cyrilda's not getting great value right now. You don't have any other lethality to boost up that item. It's another ult from Yagao. Dogdam is punted back. He has to dodge away from the hook. Here comes Live.
Oh, that is a phenomenal flash headbutt to get Yagao down.
Very nice.
Life, take your...
That item, it's another ult from Yagao.
So one thing that's been good about Life, guys, is that especially when he's been on Maokai and other engage supports, is he works very well with his team, and particularly with Milky Way on engages. So their engage synergy on the map has been very good. And I don't know what Yagao is doing, dude. Legit terrible positioning. He has flash too, but I mean, he doesn't actually have to walk up this much. I mean, he literally just walks straight into the Alistair. And Dokdam can wall ride over Talia wall because it counts as terrain. And so he just gets punted in, and even with flash, he can't live through that. And Life is fine because he has Alistair ult up.
Missing, flashing away. The Nautilus still punctured. His suit no longer safe.
Yagao has been kind of trash this game, guys.
Now being brought down as well, and the mountain is felled, tunneled through.
All right.
FPX make it look like Deep Rock Galactic.
Oh my gosh, Rock and Stone, that Flandre Malphite can't get himself the entry once. He's not there for the initial part of the fight. And FPX are rewarded for playing a little bit more slow than they usually do.
How is Nightmare not on LEC? I don't know. I think he's really good.
Into a position to poke out that someone on the Baron and look for a steal with Kanavi, but they can't walk over. Not with Dokdam, the ability to wall surf over and get himself a flash. Maybe into the play. FPX, they survive the early game. They survive the mid game, and they walk away with a 1 fight and the Baron. They are here to play.
What inspiring stuff. FPX do not lose here right now. They managed to do so well in Life. This is phenomenal.
That is top draw. I know a lot of the conversation around FPX has been about Milky Way, as it should be, but Life has had a couple of excellent games. His Rumble support, some of his mages have been what I've focused on, but this Alistair makes the game-changing play here. If they walk away with a victory in this game 1, you have to thank Life for it. He's where this all starts.
And we had serious concerns about Dokdam and Life as a duo, perhaps more so than sometimes them individually.
Yeah, I think anyone who watched Dokdam's Ezreal, yeah.
It was almost like the damage was there, but some of those shifts were a little aggro. There was a bit of Abel going on, shall we say.
Now we have ourselves a minute until the next dragon. Baron buff will tide FPX over to this. Problem is, JDG used all of their flashes in that last play. They haven't got the flashes away from the carries they need to, and this is a late.
They just have flash. Well, I mean, they still have flash on Ruler, and they can make a play with Kanavi's flash.
Almost at that Lord. Exactly, and he's now almost got himself to Lord Dominic's regards. I think FPX have actually overcome JDG at this point. It's going to be so difficult for JDG to find the kills onto the carries. Now it's JDG the ones with the real onus of, you know, being able to weather the storm and look for that one opportunity. I think they're in a losing position now.
Got no teleport on Flandre either, so yes, you've got a couple wards down in the river right now for JDG, but they're not very useful. You can throw Yagao down there.
Really disappointing performance from Yagao, especially with how well Kanavi was doing. He just couldn't find any tandem plays on the map with his ultimate. I don't know why he walks up like that.
Or around that, they'd be in the they wouldn't be making playoffs. They wouldn't really maybe.
Wish we had an LPL podcast. Yeah, the thing is, nobody would watch it.
Well, it's like
the least watched league by Westerners.
This team's good. They know how to play the game fast. And now playing here as well against the 3.
Plus, we already discussed LPL on both Summoning Insight and Power Spike.
Of last year, the 3-peat LCK champion, and they're showing them how to play mid-game. FPX's macro has been so good. And
Like, honestly, guys,
Not get onto as valuable a target this time. It's just Flandre. He will headbutt the Malphite away, who now needs to ult out to safety. Life uses his own ultimate, but they do win.
honestly, guys, I'm contemplating whether we even need Best Damn League show for LEC and Monty and Wolf show for LCK. So, adding an LPL podcast probably isn't in the cards.
Here comes Life again.
Not get onto as valuable a target this time. It's just Flandre. He will headbutt the Malphite away, who now
Malphite just has to ult out. Wow.
FPX's macro has been so good, and here comes Life again.
Not get onto as valuable a target this time. It's just Flandre. He will headbutt the Malphite away, who now needs to ult out to safety.
And he can't ult anybody. He can't ult the other direction because his team is too far away, so they wouldn't be able to follow up at all.
Missing Hex flashing forward, but FPX, they don't even blow that much for it. They blow the Alistar ult. That's about it. But Flandre not having his ult on the Malphite. See how difficult that is. I mean, how do you fight? The problem is about the Malphite. When Malphite ults a flashless target, it looks so non-counterplayable. But because it's so much about these big fights, it's really just about gets away with that. Isn't punished for that one. If Flandre has no flash himself and he's going on to flash full targets, what do you do as this champion? You need to be forcing fights to the point where they don't have the summoners to outplay in the big fight. And Flandre does not have that kind of angle. And without that Malphite being able to go forward with impunity, without missing, be able to get typically onto the backline and get in range for a Nautilus ultimate. This game looks so difficult. And now with 2 Mountain Dragons to the side.
I'm not saying we're going to get rid of those shows, guys. I'm questioning their value. That's all. I enjoy doing Monty and Wolf show. If people want to keep doing them, then we'll keep doing them. But
they were the mythological heroes on that golden road, but
they're much smaller than Power Spike and Summoning Insight, so I wonder how worth it they are.
Are here to show they are not some middle of the pack flash in the pan. They are right up there with the halcyon gods of the LPL. Life, dangerous position. Maybe, oh maybe, I've just cast a Kirsten. You throw some pretty words out and immediately a man dies.
It's so often we say life finds a way, but it's JDG that find life instead. The cow goes down. They don't blow his ult.
Wow. X Chip 102, you're back. 91 months. Holy moly.
They don't use that much. They use ultimates, but they don't use flashes. That's important. I think JDG at this point, they need to try and focus on blowing summoners and keeping their own for as long as possible. But it is something. FPX, they won't be able to get as much off of this last push now. Yugao's going to turn up into a side lane, and now we get really into the smoke and mirrors, into the late game macro. FPX have backdoored some of the best teams in the LPL recently. Their late game macro has been arguably the best in the whole of the LPL.
Well, that's because they have FPX has plot armor, and they just mind control their opponents into losing. That's why their macro is good, guys. It's called mind control your opponent, top esports into, you know, trading Baron for game.
Sweat a little before they can close it out.
They teleport in. Doctam flashes out. They try to get cut over. It's a good headbutt away. They don't get him over the wall. Doctam trying to survive. Finally gets to throw down the lightning crash. Does not die quite yet. Survives. Doctam.
Wow. Well, that's it. Game's over.
The burst fire goes full auto, and FPX win out. Life with another clutch save.
Oh, but the power of the stars.
Life is MVP this game, by the way, guys.
JDG are on the retreat. They swing for Doctam, and they just about miss. He's bleeding out, but he gets it brought back up to his feet by his teammates. JDG, I think they might just be losing game 1.
They're on the march on in. Olympus is
I need a PR personality to host the shows. What would you call me and Thorin, who overwhelmingly drive the viewership on this network?
Tale to be done, but FPX have decided they are here not just to play, but to win.
And now we get to see how JDG can pick up the broken pieces again. Kanavi, he's found it really hard to get clean plays onto the backline. It's so hard to get to the carries, but behind the Jax, behind the Alistar, Flandre forces the flash. Kanavi tries to get past Life, but goes just a little too close to the Raging Bull. And even with the
It's amazing Milky Way lives through that, by the way. And he even has the ball. Like, I love Milky Way. Look at this guy. He gets hooked in, gets W'd in, has Counter-Strike, right? Flashes out, leap strikes over.
Can't finish Jax behind the Alistar. Flandre forces the flash. Kanavi tries to get past Life, but goes just a little too close to the Raging Bull. And even with the
And then look at this. Even has the balls to come smite Kanavi. That's a smite right there, guys. Then he just like auto attacks him for fun a few times and he gets the kill. What the fuck is that? Like, he doesn't panic at all. This guy actually just has nerves of steel. He just maxes damage. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do that?
FPX win out that fight by the slimmest of margins. Now, JDG, what do you do? Again, you don't have summoners now. On the other side, though, no flash on Dockdown, no flash on Milky Way. What can you do? Here comes Missing.
Trying to get in. That's a fairly decent knock up into the backline. Kanavi goes again, but still cannot deal with Doctor Mashallah, who goes into the backside as well. Jace here to play. The hammer comes.
Eden JTV, thank you for your Twitch Prime sub.
FPX's chance to win the game. Doctor
The other side, though, no flash on Dockdown, no flash on Milky Way. What can you do? Here comes Missing.
Trying to get in. That's a fairly decent knock up into the backline. Kanavi goes again, but
Kanavi trying desperately to get onto Dockdown.
No flash on Dockdown, no
Hex Flash grabs Karma. Q comes in, tries to W behind Dockdown. He can't get the angle though. And he gets stunned. Who does he kick? Oh, I guess he kicks Dockdown the wrong direction.
Dockdown, no flash on Milky Way. What can you do? Here comes Missing.
Trying to get in. That's a fairly decent knock up into
yeah.
Kanavi goes again, but still cannot deal with Doctor Mashallah, who goes into the backside as well. Jace here to play. The hammer comes.
Oh, he kicks Jace. I'm blind. He kicks Jace forward. Dockdown just skating to the side.
Doctor Mashallah, who goes into the backside as well. Jace here to play. The hammer comes crashing on down into the sky. FPX's chance to win the game. They're teleporting in. Care is there. And Ruler just cannot be careful enough. Ruler loses his crown. FPX win game.
Damn.
It's Doc. It's not a Doe MVT.
So crazy, this team.
The same style of inventiveness they had then, but it's still a little innovative. It's still with the kind of flair and passion that earned this team so many fans over the years. And JDG, last year's heroes, last year's.
You need someone who is in the scene to host it. I mean, who do you want? We have one of the most active co-streamers. Wolf is on the LCK broadcast.
FPX just take game one. It feels good. It's not the series. Let's not perhaps get as hyperbolic as I have been. Hyperbolic. That's the way that one works. But we are here. It's exciting.
I mean, SI is the most watched League of Legends podcast in the world, so don't really know what you guys are talking about.
FPX versus BLG. I thought it was a good series, but it was all too quick. BLG smashed out the early game and they just ran them through with macro. This game, FPX, this has everything for them because they have been the fast team. They have closed out games as well. But then they come up against JDG. They lose early game, but they hold on in a way that we haven't had to see them do so much. They did it versus top.
Fun game.
They had a backdoor victory. This one they won through brute force team fighting. That really doesn't happen that often versus JDG, and we walk away with a fantastic game one. And thank you everyone once again for tuning in. We're brothers. I'm Namera. You might know me from LPL when I'm. We'll have to cut that one off. So
The dive got huge numbers since Media's joined, but they don't do it live. It's just like a YouTube VOD with podcast, and they also don't do episodes year round. Total viewership is much lower than SI. The thing about our YouTube numbers, guys, is you're not including our Twitch numbers, the live numbers from YouTube. And we do leave, some of the YouTube live VODs get 15, 20,000 views in addition to the edited versions. And then we also have Spotify and other podcast platforms. So like SI regularly hits 100,000 plus downloads across all platforms. You just don't see all the numbers. But, basically, we just have more vectors for distribution than Riot does. They don't do Twitch. They don't do live on YouTube. I don't know how many of the podcast platforms they actually use. I don't even know if they have video on Spotify or not, but we have video on Spotify. And the actual podcast audience for SI is pretty significant, like on podcast platforms. Did you and Thorn ever think about bringing in Dash?
So life.
I mean,
has
maybe
been
if we had a
one
show for him to
support
host,
player,
but we don't really have that
one
need
out
right
there.
now.
He has done work on this pick. I think he's 2-0 on the pick so far this split, and he's had it banned away from him a number of other times. So what's the plan here from Rural and Missing?
You need to somehow reach new audiences that are not SI viewers? Well, we're expanding into other games.
And they go for the Callista. I think
2020 Mazda CX-5. Thank you for Twitch Prime sub.
Yagao locks in Ari, looking for early pressure in mid lane to then hopefully roam down towards bot lane at level 6. Yagao's had a bit of an awkward split on a lot of picks. I've actually liked his Ari when he showed it the last time, though.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to note that last game that Talira went 0-2-1, I think it was just not involved. It was not what you...
So what I said about moving to Colorado, guys, is that there's no point to me coming back to the States right now. Because I'm still waiting to sell my house in LA. And I can basically, guys, there's a system in Korea of renting called Junsei. And what happens is you put down like a large deposit. So like a 6-figure deposit on an apartment rather. And then what happens is that you just pay no rent. So the landlord that you're paying then invest that money, and your rent is basically the interest on the deposit, and when you leave, you get it all back. So I'm in a situation where I can be in Korea. I have no reason to go back to the States right now, really. And I can wait for mortgage interest rates to go down. I can keep my kid in school learning Korean for a longer period of time, so he's more fully bilingual. My mother and father-in-law are in the same apartment complex, so we get help with childcare, and I live literally rent-free in a 4-bedroom, 1,200 square foot apartment in Korea, in a very nice part of Incheon. So I got no reason to go back and pay 7% mortgage interest rates, guys. That's not much difference from you investing it and using interest/dividends to pay rent. It is, because this would be like renting a 4-bedroom apartment for like, I don't know, $800 a month. Yeah, rent is basically paid by the interest of your investment. Wouldn't it be the same if you just invested in bank deposit and paid a rent by yourself? But that's not the way that these apartments work in Korea. This is a very common form of renting in Korea. And so if you want certain apartments, they are done this way. Nordic Kaiser, been actively watching Elephant Insight since 2021. Fun to be able to support something they spend so much time on. Congrats on your baby. Can't wait to see what's in store for Elephant in the future. Is Elephant going to make a Valorant show? We're looking into that. So yeah, we'll talk about that. So, I mean, and my parents are in Colorado, but not in Denver. So it would be harder for us to get childcare there. And we just, we don't have a reason to go to Colorado quickly, even though we do want to eventually be there, because we don't want our kids in like actual Korean elementary school. Like preschool and kindergarten are okay, but then it starts to get into all the bullshit, like really shit memorization exam system in Korea. And the education system is just better in the States. So we'll come back for that, but they're just really, for the cost of living out here and the quality of life and the fact that we want, we want our kids to be fully bilingual. It's just better to be here right now. Are there cheaper deposits for smaller apartments? Yeah. School was better in Asia. I mean, if you like rote memorization, very little flexible or creative thinking, and, after school schools called hagwons until 10 at night, it's torturous. I value creative thinking. So I don't really want on rails test memorization. Yeah, Ellis does the same. He put $1 million into a Korean house that he's renting. Yep, that's the Junsei system. He just has a huge apartment. So I will come back to Colorado, and yes, to somebody's point earlier, while the game was going on, it can be a good idea to purchase now and then refinance at lower interest rates. I mean, that's what I did with my house in LA. I have a 3.25% mortgage interest rate on my house in LA. But and it's obviously going to take years to go down to that ever again, right? And if the mortgage interest rate goes down, then there's a possibility that house prices might raise, or at least that there would be more bidding wars on houses. But again, there are other reasons why I wouldn't go back right now. I'm also in a startup, guys. I'm also doing a startup with LFN. And you know what? Banks don't really like startups as your primary form of income. I have other forms of income, but I do consulting. Now I'm streaming and doing YouTube stuff. LFN has been much more reliable in terms of income, but I'd rather just not be pressured to and just have LFN, continue to grow. Yeah, a lot of it, to your point, they force discipline, but worse for creativity and critical thinking. I see a lot of people start kindergarten/elementary school in Korea and then move to the US. A lot of Koreans do this, guys. The Koreans don't want their kids in the Korean education system. And so they move to the United States. Like, the mom will take the kids to the US while the dad continues to work in Korea, and they use the US education system. Yeah, it's a great idea to spend time on both sides of the Pacific just to be bilingual. And yeah, I mean, we'll always come back to Korea, and my kids' grandparents live here, so they can come out during the summer and continue to have Korean immersion. But just getting the base of Korean is very important, right? Would you move to Europe? I've already lived in Europe. I've lived in Dublin. I mean, I consider it. But we also don't have family in Europe, so with kids, it's a lot harder. Are you still suffering from chronic sleep deprivation from the newborn? Um, my wife has been doing a lot more of the overnight stuff because I have to work, and she's not, so that's been helpful. But yeah, I mean, I'm still tired, and I'm also tired because, like, for example, guys, yesterday I got up at 5:30 a.m. because I had to do the Four Horsemen at 6 a.m. Then I had the Monty and Wolf show at 10 a.m. Then I streamed for 4.5 hours. Then I had to watch Arrival for foreplay recording later this week. Go to bed. Then I get up today and I have business calls all morning. Then I record Nerd Legion on Dune 2 with Doa. Now I'm streaming for you guys. Then I will eat dinner, take a couple hours off, and then do SI at 8 p.m. So I'm just tired in general. All while doing 90% of the cooking in my house and having 2 kids. So it's been a grind, guys. It's been a grind. We're the kids that actually generate money. Yeah, you guys should generate me more money. That's my opinion. Begin your money generation. Subscribe. Use your Twitch Prime on me. Yeah, this is game 2. We'll start now.
Wanted to see when you've locked in the combo you did. So see some more out of it.
All right, so Varus on the side of FPX this game. Ash, Callista, very aggressive bot lane. Thank you, Physicist, for your 5 community subs. Welcome back. Nice gifts. Thank you.
He missed a lot of sitting ultimates. Really help in terms of shutting down the Orion's.
All right, so Kindred ban up against Milky Way, the classic, just banning out a bunch of junglers. And there's the Graves ban in the second rotation. Annie, interestingly, in the mid lane. Again, this team really does a good job of just everything is about Milky Way. He's having an amazing performance this split as a rookie. So why not just enable him with Karma, Annie picks, these things that are going to set you up potentially for success.
Individual player. This champion in this matchup, I think, is more likely for him to succeed on than others which he's struggled in.
Jax, Udyr bans on the side of FPX. Milky Way's champion like him, who had actually a very solid game on the Jax, while he wasn't there.
Please don't take Best Damn League show and the Monty and Wolf show. It's the podcast I listen to since I'm an Uber driver. Fair enough. Henry934. What do your passengers think about our podcast?
You already had the Varusol or the Annual would just be huge AoE team fight burst. You're looking for something that can help with the wombo. So now what are you going to get here from Milky Way? Now, he's not going towards the straight carry option, but his Shinzo has been very good at bot lane 3v3ing. And when you see the Varus Rumble versus the Callista Ashe, you need some...
Yeah, big time poke damage, big time engage potential with Annie. This is a very all-in composition. Super fun to see. They're going to go ahead and take the Vi, so they have some threat, Vi, Ahri backline threat and flanking threat onto the Varus. Tons of hard engage on this side too with Ashe and Callista ults.
Are potential at being a little bit overrun because Vi is not very good at those levels. It's locked in. I think the bot side 3v3 is absolutely where all eyes are, but I wonder if there's a level 1-2 plan from FPX.
The gloves are off, but considering Vi's in the game, the gloves are well.
It could be any support too. True.
The gloves are off and the gauntlets are on. There we go. Perhaps that's the way to phrase it. Flandre debating his options. It will have to be a blind pick. Still worth noting that, strictly speaking, that Rumble could go top.
I think it potentially could, but honestly, with Life playing it so well, I think there's no reason for you to not do this.
Yeah, the Life Rumble support is very interesting.
Champions. It wouldn't surprise me to see him lock in something like that. Nah, which does well into the Renekton on an individual level. It feels like top lane will be an...
I Will Dominate said during the series that Milky Way is having the biggest rookie year since Faker. What? That's my opinion from Power Spike. Eckle. I agree with him though. That was my take on our latest episode of Power Spike. That was a discussion that we had. I think it is the right opinion though. He credited you. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I don't think Dom's stealing it. I'm just saying that is my take. And also, like, Dom is perfectly capable of coming up with that same take himself. He knows the history of the game.
Slowly eking out an advantage, that can work very well. However, Flandre has been good in the individual lane, so this is going to be a big moment for Shallow, who to use... Yeah,
Chovy did have an insane rookie year. That's true as well.
We all know how this game works. Anybody who has seen League of Legends drafts in the last couple...
All right, so we're back to Life's crazy engaged supports. Not going to be playing Maokai, but hell yes, here we go. Support Rumble.
Love lane pressure you could ask for. Everyone is turning up bot to the circus, and it is going to be blood sports.
And we have a couple of LCK exports in the LPL facing off again on distant lands. Ruler, Doctor and Life. I think the fourth player is missing. We don't know what's happening with that one from the LCK, but we have so much. It's a bit of a home away from home scenario, and they have brought all of the early knife fight potential to the table.
You know what they say when it's knife fights? It's quick, it's dirty.
So Life has played 4 games of the support Rumble now.
Raised last game from FPX. They said, look, we've locked in the Jace. if you don't turn up top, this is a free lane, and that should be good, and they didn't end up that way. There was pressure put towards it. There's every scale this time around. I think both teams are just going to leave that lane well and truly alone. There will not be that question asked, because the answer is self-evident. But
light style composition, much earlier game comfort for them, much more ability to snowball.
I mean, it is a very annoying lane to play into if you're Callista Ashe, because, I mean, this is a lot of damage that you have to deal with early on between the Varus and the Rumble. What's the strat as support Rumble? Dominate lane, run around the map, provide insane engage potential in the late game. And because FPX has a tendency to play more supportive or engage/CC mid laners like Karma, or I mean, if you look at Care's champion pool, if you look at Care's champion pool for this split, you know, Azir, Nico, Karma, Annie. These are all mid laners that provide forms of engage and a lot of utility. Right? Azir is not available on this patch, so we just kind of switched it up to some other stuff.
I trust Ruler to find himself in an interesting, to find himself in the safest spot he can. I just want to put that on the table because I haven't seen much lethality Callista outside of that. We used to see, of course, the the Sanguine Blade Callista top lane.
Oh yeah,
it's been Shy's favorite. I just want to throw that out there, just see if something can come of it. See that Shallow who's just sat here just throwing Qs into the bush as Calandria sat there and like, well, I'm not gonna let you auto attack me. I'm just gonna not let you get there. And let you
what are the implications of Azir being disabled for pro play? A lot fewer Azir picks.
However,
I mean, what else do you want me to say?
Not managed to get any wards into the enemy side of the jungle. Kanavi last game early game did an awful lot of work. Let's see.
Hurts some teams more than others.
Both junglers matching. They're both starting top. They're both passing.
I thought it might hurt Gen G just because it's like Chovy's default pick, but I guess he has just got it everything, so it doesn't matter.
Skipping some topside camps. Of course, yet to be decided. Might not be the case, as you can see the Xin Zhao pathing towards the Krugs. To be decided. Might not be the case, as you can see.
So E start onto Rumble, guys, because you have poke and you can slow people down. Helps line up for a potential Varus poke.
Over the last few years, it used to be semi-common, not so much anymore.
So a big thing we said was that level 1 and level 2 kind of bad from Kanavi's Vi, because Vi just can't do anything until you have all of your basic hit, really. Not going to be the case here.
That's right, because Vi equals turd.
That one, Rush Vision taken by Missing.
As my stream knows.
On the Rumble, you can get good poke, but it is not enough to deal with the Ruler and Missing at the very early levels. Milky Way on Vision, so JDG know that they will have a safe phase of laning play. So it's not like Milky Way's coming in for a very, very early level 3 gank, and that works out for JDG.
You can see Milky Way's actually being very circumspect with his pathing, path around the back of the red buff wall towards his base to get good access. And actually a very good trade there from Shallow with the early Meganar. But he still gets spotted because, of course, Hawkshot on Ashe is a thing.
Map hacks
so
are a thing.
There's just no way to avoid it. How careful you're being.
There are two champions which are just not fair when it comes to vision. One is Maokai, because he walks into your enemy jungle to put saplings there, so it's like a free ward there for...
It's just no way to avoid it. How careful
you love Hawkshot.
Very good trade there from Shallow.
Super fun ability.
But he still gets spotted because, of course, Hawkshot on Ashe is a thing.
Map hacks
so
are a thing.
There's just no...
Little while, and then of course there's the map hacks of the Hawk shots as well. Life walking up, trying to get some poke. This is the worry that we had though. Ruler and Missing, when they really feel angry in games like this, they put on the early game afterburners and they say, all right, try and keep up with us. And they've locked in the Ashe and the Callista. Of course, Ruler just misses the Pierce there, which we're not going to talk about as much. But again, let's just see how much FPX can do to survive this. Life has done a good job of hitting a couple of these E's to make sure that Missing's HP is lower than it potentially could be. Kanavi now here for the bot side scuttle, but because the bot lane's been poked out, this could be actually a straight 3v3.
Is there power spike tonight? No, it's Summoning Insight tonight.
Around with the Vault Breaker, but Missing in a dangerous position, has to burn the heal. Kanavi has to flash out. On the other side, Ruler's running with Dokdam, could well win this one out. The arrow still lands. Dokdam's got to be careful. First blood to Xin Zhao. Missing is about to go missing, and now the posters keep... Has to burn the heal.
Kanavi now here for the bot side scuttle, but because the bot lane's been poked out, this could be actually a straight 3v3.
Kanavi gets hit.
Okay.
Becomes lightning will turn.
Q's down, and he still closed the gap with E. Kanavi has to flash. He's overheated, doing a fuck ton of damage. You cannot... Okay, guys. You cannot duel this Xin Zhao and an overheated Rumble with Flame Spitter up early. Jesus, Missing's gonna die too. Ruler's also dead.
Oh no, JDG! The whole town
Oh
is in
my
the police station
God.
looking to find their missed loved ones. It's a disaster.
3 stars in the constellation.
Gets a triple. Dear Lord. All right, let's take a look at this again. So we're seeing the top to bottom pathing from both junglers, and we are going for full clear on both sides. And they want to cover a possible dive that could come in here, but you know, honestly, these trades have been going pretty well for FPX. Like the having the harpoon spam has been working out at keeping some of the HP bars relatively low on the side of JDG. So it hasn't been quite as brutal because the Rumble, I guess, you know, one of the advantages is that, you know, he gets W at level 2, as we saw right there. So he can kind of weave in and out before they have time to charge up Hail of Blades and hit a bunch of E's. And then he can also trade with his shield, Scrap Shield.
To survive this, Life has done a good job of hitting a couple of these E's to make sure that Missing's HP is lower than it potentially could be. Kanavi now here for the bot side scuttle, but because the bot lane's been poked out, this could be actually a straight 3v3.
Kanavi gets hit by the wind, becomes lightning.
And Kanavi is here, right?
Because the bot lane's been poked out to survive this.
How does Ruler take that much damage? Oh, he just takes a bad trade from Dokdam.
Of course, Ruler just misses the pierce there, which we're not going to talk about as much. But again, let's just see how much FPX can do to survive this. Life has done a good job of...
So Dokdam's level 3 right here.
It's lower than it potentially could be. Kanavi now here for the bot side scuttle.
And Life hits level 3 off this wave. And he gets hit by the wind, becomes lightning. Q goes over. But now there's no Q. Life hits level 3, so he actually has Flame Spitter now. He didn't have it before. And that's when he's capable of all-inning. He actually hits both players with W there, so now on his E reset, he's able just to dash immediately over to Missing. And Ruler flashes, but Milky Way has flash.
Oh no, JDG! The whole
Beautifully played.
town is in the police station looking for find their missed loved ones. It's a disaster.
3 stars in the constellation of Milky Way. He makes an...
Why Doran's ring start on a Rumble? We often see Doran start on support these days because otherwise you get bullied giga hard in the bot lane, even harder, especially by like Callista Ashe. So you just buy support item on first back. Yeah, I would really love to know what happened here because the wave bounces out and you would think Ashe is already in the river. So, you know, I guess Ruler was just playing too far to the bot side. And so, because the wave is right in the middle, Dokdam and Life actually are able to rotate first.
Dokdam's got to be careful. First blood to Jinzhao. Missing is about to go missing. And now the posters keep flying. Oh no, JDG! The whole town is in the police station looking for find their missed loved ones. It's a disaster.
3 stars in the constellation of Milky Way. He makes an absolute mess of this bot lane, and all we knew about this game was that it was going to come down to 3v3. Shout out to Life again. Did a really good job of poking down Missing and Ruler, but Ruler misses like 2 or 3 crucial cues on the Callista in the lead up to that play as well. And FPX, they managed to win the micro.
Doran's getting nerf packs next patch. It's unique with jungle item and support item. That's probably a good idea because honestly, even junglers have been like purchasing Doran's blade, like Volibear first back. Doran's blade, like boots or Doran's blade Ruby Crystal, has been pretty popular. Gives you crazy pressure.
Dice, nice job with the Vault Breaker. Shallow who goes down. They get something back to JDG necessary after the play bot lane went so catastrophically wrong. And I want to note this as well. Milky Way's the only one who burned Flash. Dokdam and Life still kept both of those in that skirmish. And Ruler are missing every summoner with the exception of a cleanse. That bot lane's not getting easier anytime soon.
No, it's not. And one of the real pain points here is
in the US, so it's saying up for Ramadan. You're doing the hack The Muslim hack of just stay up at night so you can eat and then sleep all day. Nice.
We've seen less emphasis on jungle mid as a combo and more about jungle bot lane as a 3v3. Because mid laners can't roam. It's not like the ASOL that can roam.
That's the Ramadan hack right there, guys.
Season 6. It's been a long time since then. Life gonna walk up again. There's only a cleanse left.
Oh my days, the burn is brutal. Missing's dead as well, and
Oh god.
Season 6.
This is so interesting, actually, guys. This is so interesting. See, there, now you can see the support item coming in.
It's been a long time since then. Life gonna walk up again.
He just flashes on him. I mean, he knows they have no flash, so he just gap closes immediately. And they do immense damage. Serrated Dirk already onto Dokdam. He flashes forward too. Oh, Jesus. The overheat is so crazy.
A hell of a lot. And where were you?
Yep, Doran's Blade, Tunneler, Longsword. This is what you do, guys. This is what I'm talking about. With the 3 kills, you can get the Doran's Blade, which just provides you so much early game power in the jungle.
When JDG, the best laning bot lane in the LPL, got absolutely dumpstered by Dokdam and Life. We have had criticism for both of these players, but Ruler and Missing have been caught.
Dude, Life is popping off this series.
Game from the Rumble support has been absolutely destructive, and Milky Way walking away with a couple of kills and now handing the reins over to his bot lane as well has absolutely totaled this. 2-man Varus, 2-man Varus Q, everyone stacking up here to just take all of the damage. FPX's bot lane have come to life.
The overheated Flame Spitter doing unbelievable amounts of damage, and they just set them all on fire. That bot lane is just gone. There's 0-2 on both of them. Yeah. That bot lane, what you have drafted for has gone wrong. FPX are the ones with the big lead. Yes, Shallow, who is struggling in the top side, but frankly, that is a minor win for JDG.
Shallow, who has himself the cull, and he's just trying to get himself value. As long as he doesn't get blown out in here, I think it's completely fine. He doesn't have to be the split push win condition in this game now that bot lane is so far ahead. Remember, no summoners here. Life doesn't have flash, but they've stayed too long. Oh, Ruler and Missing, they've missed the memo again. Push win condition in this.
It's so bad, too, because Ruler and Missing need to get ahead, because, like, Yagao and Flandre are just not going to carry this game, you know what I mean? And they're supposed to be winning this lane so hard. They are winning in terms of CS. Like, the CS denial has been real. But, dear lord, just the kills. He's just barbecuing them. Jesus. Yeah, Ruler has to leave now. It is very awkward that they go after Ruler here instead of Missing. They could have definitely killed Missing.
The wrong target there, actually. Missing throws down a fair amount of damage. Might survive, but Missing. There's nowhere to go. They turn on Ruler. The wind does become lightning. They won't quite get it. They chose perhaps the wrong target there, actually. Missing throws down a fair amount of damage back. Will still be Ruler 4.
I'd like to mention how heavily Flandre has exceeded non-existent expectations. Yeah, he's been better than expected, but he's still not good enough, is my take.
Crash either. That's the reason they were pushed up. They realized, oh god, what happens?
Has he been better than we thought after his break? Yes. Is he good enough to win a major international title? Probably not.
Vault Breaker comes on through. There comes Season Desist. Flandre slices, dices, does not have the flash, and the Meganar is coming. I think Shallow can keep going. Milky Way's here.
Oh god.
Overcomes Yagao.
All right, well, they get the kill.
That'll be the reset on the ultimate. Who else is coming? No one as it sounds, but actually Care is here. Has got the ultimate to work with. Where
Bam.
is Tibbers? Straight on top of Yagao's face.
Forces flash.
On out, and they do get the kills, but it comes at JDG.
Pretty decent flash, or a pretty decent trade, rather. But you give up grubbies.
Nasty stuff as Yagao has to flash away from it. Care doesn't get the most value out of that one. Sadly for Yagao, I have to mention this, doesn't have a Dark Seal. Went for the boots 2 very early on to try and survive against the Nanny. It just kind of sucks that you don't have that snowball potential from him, because JDG need a topside snowball now. There is no time to wait. Your bot lane is already starting to get yourself into a game-losing position. How often do we say that about JDG? Basically never.
Yeah, CS is the CS gap is closed now because Ruler was forced out of lane and lost a lot of potential lane farm with that. Depends on how big the wave is right here that's being pushed in.
What do you do to come back from this?
Bot lane where Doctor was down a fair amount of CSs. Right back to even. Still got the kill involvement, absolutely everything. 100% KP right now. Milky Way in life. Head into the enemy jungle, and I don't think you win ever a 2v2 there. They're going to flash forward for the Fate's Call. This is the moment they're looking for. They've got the man advantage. Docdam's got nowhere to go, and Ruler gets something.
Okay, it's an overstep from Docdam. You can see.
I don't think you win ever a 2v2 there. They're going to flash forward for the Fate's Call. This is the moment they're looking for. They've got the man
Pretty
advantage.
disrespectful
Docdam's
when
got
you
nowhere
know
to
that
go.
Ruler has
Ruler gets
cleanse and
something.
flash up, and you
Okay,
used
so
your
overstep from
flash
Docdam.
to
You
get
see that
those
Milky Way
kills
life
earlier,
in bot
and life
jungle.
isn't there.
Right, what's happening now?
Still got the kill involvement, absolutely everything. 100% KP right now. Milky Way in life.
Life is basically just turned into a Milky Way's assistant in this team. It's pretty funny.
And Ruler gets something.
Okay, it's an overstep from Docdam. You can see that Milky Way and Life were in bot
Attica,
jungle.
Attica.
Right, what's happening now? Jigao,
Yeah, we just did Dog Day Afternoon on
Jigao
Foreplay,
not able to
guys.
Go down to the roam there as well, and he didn't have himself his an ultimate. He could have used that on top side. So something back. Important there for JDG to not completely bleed out here.
Flash cleanse ult used from Ruler to deal with Docdam's ultimate. That now leaves missing dead to rights. He's got a flash, but he just can't get far enough away. Flash wind becomes lightning.
Why do you need
Burns
Docdam? You
so
just kill him.
much to kill Docdam. Ruler to deal with Docdam's ultimate. That now leaves missing dead to rights. He's got a flash, but he just can't get far enough away. Flash wind becomes lightning.
Definite waste of flash there, by the way.
Used from Ruler to deal
Hex
with
flash
Docdam's
in.
ultimate. That now leaves
As soon as you
missing
hit both
dead
of
to
the,
rights. He's got a flash, but he just can't get far enough. to
like,
deal with Docdam.
you know the Jinzhao is there too.
Now leaves missing
So
dead to
you're
rights.
not
He's got a flash, but he
escaping
just
from
can't get
this,
far enough
by the way,
away.
guys.
Flash wind
You're not
becomes
escaping from
lightning,
that.
And they burn so much to kill Docdam. They have nothing.
Maybe you forced Milky Way's flash right there, but it's possible you would have died
Oh,
anyway.
Gosh, it feels so unfair just having to play against Milky Way. He always finds his way into these lanes, and even against top esports, you know, it felt like FPX managed to tear apart Jaculov and Mako, one of the other best bot lanes in the LPL, because Milky Way on Shinsa went down bot lane and made their life a living hell in early game. This guy has managed to really punish some of the real old and great players of the LPL, and he's not stopping anytime soon.
What is it, Wuxia analogy, reference, there are heavens above the heavens and the skies are being sundered by Milky Way, and he's a little higher perhaps than some of these JDG players right now. He's been playing so damn well. Milky Way down to mid lane. Life is here, who's running Hex Flash on Rumble, so we can do plays like this. Over he goes, lands the Electro Harpoon, missing though with level 6 just now. Means they won't get anything more. It looked cool, but now
Yep.
Shallow, who left
9 minutes, 10 seconds. Fully done Sundered Sky. Doran's Blade, Boots 1.
No Mega Gnar here.
Feels pretty
Dead
good
Gnar under the turret.
if you're Milky Way.
Who left out to try a little bit, but has Mega Gnar coming?
Oh my god, it's
No one else
so
is
close to getting Mega Gnar.
Just been started. No Mega Gnar here.
Good
Dead
timing.
Gnar under the turret. So JDG, they have said, all right, you can have your bot lane pressure. Let's see how much pressure you can take through the top side of the map. It is very much split gold on split members.
Do you get something there? Fight's got Mega Gnar an inch away, but the CC chain is impeccable from JDG. They are 9-1 for a reason. They are not to be trifled with, and for all we have been singing Milky Way and FPX and the rest of the team's praises, JDG are not without some bite. Only 700 gold lead. Really isn't all that much in it for all that a lot of the game plan's gone wrong. JDG now turning up in fourth bot side. The arrow goes wide.
That's an important cooldown missed. Missing has typically been...
Really isn't all that much in it for all that a lot of the game plan's gone wrong. JDG now turning up in fourth bot side.
Ooh.
Goes wide.
He dodges it while in his Q slowdown too, Docdam. Bold.
Accurate with those arrows, but feels like everything's going a bit amiss for JDG today. They couldn't win the team fights last time. Their early game's been stalled out here a little bit too. FPX stacking up a lot of members for what is a very early turret siege, but the dragon is spawned either way. I think they're just trying to pen JDG to their own side of the map, and we get a brief moment to cool down and just chill out a little bit and see what's going to happen after this point. JDG, they're going to give up another dragon. We'll see what flavor of Rift we're on for this second game
I like
of
vanilla.
the series. You like vanilla? No.
Get with the first ice cream flavor that came to mind.
I don't mean, you can't go wrong with vanilla. It's an ocean rift, sadly. I don't exactly know what that would taste like. Sea salt? Sea
Yeah,
salt?
it's Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts? Yeah, well, we'll see if this one's going to be a broken heart on the bot side.
It's looking a bit spicy and ice cream down here. Ah, in comes Annie. Care Bears in, both bot laners down.
Yeah, and well, we'll see if this one's going to be a broken heart on the bot side.
It's looking a bit spicy and ice
Yeah, it's just the
Well, we'll see if this
the
one's gonna
flash
be
right
broken
on top of them.
Oh boy, it's looking a bit spicy. and
Flash
icy
right on
here.
top.
Ah, in comes Annie. Care
No
Bears in,
place
both bot lane is down.
to
He's
chuck
taking
anybody
out
with that Callisto
nothing to
ult.
say
The
about
torture of the bot lane is
If
complete.
this is a Kingdom Hearts,
Now you have to rely on a Renekton to win the game. I don't know how Renekton actually closes the gap against this team.
But when you pick a Callisto,
They have so much
you need
peel
to be ahead. The fact
for
that they are
Varus
so far behind is a massive,
and
massive
upfront damage in the melee that I don't really see how Flandre can use Renekton effectively in team fights.
Some teams, like FPX, even with the LWX and roster back then, did punish them by just hyper-ganking Ruler early and seeing if you could ever get off the ground. It feels like JDG, they've sadly fallen prey to that a little once more.
Opportunities, Swifties, tier stacking versus a bargain bucket. I think Ruler should be. I've played the Rune King shortly. He's got all the components available, nothing else though. And the trade has been Xiaolaohu's poor life, and actually Ker's got to be very careful here. People are about to run into him, but he's managed to recall. No, I said he walked away in time. More people coming. Does not get caught on the OGN recall as we alluded to in the last game. And then the problem is, right, the gold lead is close enough. It's 1,000-ish gold. The problem is where the gold lead is and what do the compositions say. That gold is irrelevant when you look at the compositions because the bot lane is broken and you drafted to win bot lane.
You did, and I mean, you're still going to have Ashe ults, regardless of how far behind that champion is. Ashe ult into Vi, into Ahri, that can catch someone off. I don't think this game is as easy to close out from FPX because, let's be honest, JDG's comp last game did one thing. It did it pretty well because you have the Malphite and you have everyone else kind of piling on top of that. But even then, once you shut down that one win condition and that one play pattern, things fall apart with it. This game, you have a lot harder win condition to shut down, or a play pattern to shut down. You can't really shut down arrows hitting you. That's just on missing in yourself. Kind of judging those skill shots, the vision control can help with that. FPX, they're trying to contest once again one of JDG's specialties of this kind of shallow vision. These wards right here, the ones that we're seeing on stream, these can determine the game because that means that you have advanced notice on an arrow. You have advanced notice on live hex flashing out of a bush on the other side. Both these teams fighting for it. Herald is now up. We can see that there was only one squad of grubs. So much fighting on the bot side meant there was no time for the, as I like to call them, the grubby tubbies. The second episode was not aired today in this game. Now we get ourselves onto Herald.
Is it grubby tubbies or telly grubbies?
Either one's fine. I think we'll have to bring that one to the network. Docdam has flash, has ult, might be able to catch someone. He's off of vision. JDG, be careful.
Changing very swiftly here. It's looking like some late night horror reruns right now for JDG. People jumping over walls and shocking them out of nowhere. And it will be no jump scares this time around. Herald secured, and JDG, they fought their way back from positions like this before. They are a consummate team of professionals and very talented players.
Especially in the LPL. This team is very hard to get under the skin of. You see that the Herald's being charged up. Life is going to be put in here. Is there any chance of a burst coming? There goes the arrow.
It's onto the charm, but the equalizer after is good. In comes a cease and desist, but Kanavi still can't quite get the kill. It's finally a 1-for-1, but everything burned just to go 1-for-1. Necessarily. The equalizer after is good. In comes a cease and desist, but Kanavi still can't quite get the kill. It's finally a 1-for-1.
I guess they killed Annie, but
burned just to go 1-for-1. Necessarily what you want.
Yeah,
he already got his CC down.
Sides. The one thing left is the Callisto ultimate. Of course, the top laners were not that.
Burn.
Burst coming. There goes the arrow.
It's onto the charm, but the equalizer after is good. In comes a cease and desist, but Kanavi still can't.
Did force the flash and heal out of Docdam though, as he was afraid of getting charmed by Ahri. Even though Care was the one who got charmed by Ahri originally, so I don't really know why he flashes.
Still can't quite get the kill. It's finally a 1-for-1.
It's not really cooldowns remaining to deal with him right there. Because the Ashe arrow was already thrown out.
Especially in the LPL. This team is very hard to get under the skin of. You see that the Herald's being charged up. Life is going to be put in here. Is there any chance of a burst?
Because they changed the arrow into charm, into vials. I don't know if Docdam has to flash there necessarily.
But everything burned just to go 1-for-1.
Did FPX beat top? Yes, but
actually everything burned on both sides.
The top game was basically top inting game 3. That was a top win, guys. They had a huge advantage, and then they stupidly traded Baron for game. Like, technically FPX won, but top looked like the better team.
has cleanse, he has flash, he might shut down either way.
I don't think the cleanse survives. Over the wall he goes. He's going to try and rend his way out, and instead Nauto comes on through, and life once again brings
Oh
death.
my god. Is this really a support? I know that conversation came up with Carrier. It's like, is he actually a support, or is he just another carry? Life on this Rumble has brought that question up here.
I think, like, yes, for the purposes of my power rankings, I have top over FPX. Not only have they been consistently better, but I think they looked like the better team even against FPX. That was one of those moments where just like FPX won because of mind control and plot armor.
Dragon up in 30 seconds. You can see that without life here, without flash, of course no ultimate for just now. Maybe JDG, with their cooldowns coming up, can look to force a fight.
How to do that? Knockdown's not quite here yet, and that means FPX are going to be the ones a second into the river. Of course, with the fact that Milky Way is so damn fed, his ability to face check kind of freely, relatively high. He's got himself a Warden's Mail and Steel Captain to quad AD cat or quad AD damage. Yagao alone, the only person who's realistically going to do some damage, and he's not got that much to his name.
Damage across the board, though, with first items coming in. Should be pretty high nonetheless. It really does feel like this is on execution. Yagao has ult, has flash. He's going to be able to force the arrow goes wide, and that's a big cooldown to miss. JDG, they have an ult from Yagao. Kanavi's not quite up.
Do you have a mind control emote? Yeah, that's a good idea, Physicist. I'll get one made.
It's an ocean rift as well, so Life just walks back and eats some honey fruit, and he's just fine. Dragon, started by FPX. JDG want to contest. Ruler over the wall is not in this fight right now.
Kanavi charging up that queue. It is a front to back. No flanks on this one. Yagao will be spotted on that flank. They have a honey fruit. Shallow Meganar
does force the Fate's call. Flandre's ultimate about to go down. Care throws down the bear.
Oh my
god! The equalizer damage is brutal. They
on that flank. They have a honey fruit. Shallow Meganar.
All right, I don't think this engage is worth it for JDG. Right? Look, their bot lane, look at their positioning. Their bot lane is on the flank here. Care is kind of zoning out Yagao. Has his stun charged on the Annie. They're not necessarily giving up the game because it's just soul point and it's not soul. But Ruler and Missing need to take a long walk around in order to get into position. Ruler's not in this fight, guys.
This fight right now.
Charging up that queue.
And so this is already halfway gone. Zhao Lao, who is sitting on a full, basically a full Narbar, comes in, gets free damage down onto Missing. As a result, Missing does not have ult because Missing throws out his ult here. Terrible. Missing's arrows have been very bad this game, guys.
The arrow goes wide, and that's a big cooldown to miss. JDG.
They're still clearing out the mid lane, and so they hustle too much, and they get too eager heading into this fight. And there's nothing to stop Zhao Lao from just hopping in and engaging onto Missing here. So he gets a ton of free damage down. Forces the Callista ult early. Now you're getting stunned in the front line. Zhao Lao, who's going to turn Mega. Milky Way just goes in. All right, they turn onto this fight. He just drops in, uses W. Now he has... Ruler is challenged, right? And so Milky Way can pop his ultimate, knock Ari back, and then they have this equalizer here so they can just turn onto the Renekton and finish Drake. It's a really good team fight from FPX. They play it very cleanly. Like, their coordination's very good. Playing around Narbar is very good.
Burn and pillage their way to what looks to be a clean 2-0. They will not go quietly into the night. They will claim everything they can. Soul Point, 3 kills. And they can't quite claim Baron because it's just too early.
The Phoenix fancies itself a spot of regicide. It kills the Ruler once more. In this, really get much going. Once again to note, there is no Ash ult. Missing has to sidestep, the winds become lightning, but he's put out a...
That was the second stun right there, by the way, guys, because Care drops Bear. Care Bear. Ha 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 ha.
All the same, no value on this Ash really, and the combo from Kanavi and Yagao can't really get...
Charges up his stun again.
There is no Ash ult. Missing has to sidestep, the winds become lightning, but he's put out of position all the same. No, there is no Ash ult. Missing has to sidestep, the winds become lightning, but he's put out of position.
Like, he hits 2 with the stun. That allows Milky Way to E in.
Combo from Kanavi and Yagao can't really get much
Gets
going.
good knockback.
Varasol to pick
Turns
up
on to
Flandre.
Flandre. Just good team fighting.
The damage from the spreading ultimate. Nothing to be sniffed at too. JDG have not been able to activate the combo that they want. You know, when we're coming back into live again, you know, we have a 2 and 5 Kalista that's not really got much going for him. Doesn't have summoners either. FPX.
The comparison that I made on Power Spike is that Care is now the Bengi to Milky Way's Faker. He's basically there just to enable Milky Way's playstyle.
Where he could find some advantages, and yes, Flandre has got a lead. To what avail? What does the Renekton do this game? The Gnar is still useful, and you've got
Can't wait to listen to 10 years of people telling me how Care is the goat of the mid lane.
A moment to attack
Now.
Care, maybe, who flashes away, throws down Tibbers. Kanavi has to flash. Flandre with the dominance trying to get something back. The arrow does land onto Life, who is dead. The turnaround, those immediately coming through. Liao gets over the wall onto Care and gets something here. Is this their moment? Can Jingdong Gaming get something? Milky Way, though, lurking for another win becomes lightning. Cannot get an audacious charge. Over towards the other side of the river we go as Doctor has to flash. Heal away. Shallow going away. It's currently a 2-4.
Kind of a fiesta in the top side.
From FPX is just so monstrously strong. A moment to attack Care, maybe, who flashes away, throws down.
They try to go in onto Kanavi, but this is not the necessarily. It's technically a 3v2 because the Ash Arrow comes in. Yagao is already here.
The turnaround, those immediately coming through. Liao gets over the wall onto Care and gets something here. Is this goes down?
FPX should have just bailed.
Flash Flandre with the dominance trying to get Care, maybe, who flashes away, throws.
When Kanavi gets out, right? They think they have more people here, but Missing's able to affect this, and they can turn back around with the Vi ultimate.
Is this their moment? Can Jingdong Gaming get something? Milky Way, though, lurking for another win becomes lightning. Cannot get an audacious charge. Over towards the other side of the river we go as Doctor has to flash. Heal away. Shallow going away. It's currently a 2-for-1. And JDG gets something, but Milky Way's back. A crunch, a wallop, a death. Doctor has to flash, heal away.
I just love how he shows back up here. And he's the shot caller, so he goes in, he tells Jalahu to go back in. We got this. So they even it out.
My God, these fights are not stopping, but JDG, they have, for once in the LPL, met their match. 9-1. The one series they have lost is to Billy Gaming, the team we expect to be the best team in the LPL. Honestly, before this series, I was considering JDG to be the second best team in the LPL. But FPX, like they've done to so many other teams in this year, are asking questions. Flandre is strong. That's not something that we can contest at this point. While the bot lane fell apart, Flandre got a lot of gold for himself, and that's where things get a little bit awkward.
I think this is really the best case scenario for JDG, because in a straight up 5v5 objective contest, Flandre is just not going to be able to do anything on this Renekton. So getting a scenario where he can actually close the gap and skirmish in smaller groups is basically the best way to use his advantage. Because you saw how useless he is when the Mega Gnar is around and when they're actually set up for front to back.
That's all they get for their efforts. And imagine saying that FPX would out team fight, out skirmish JDG.
And there's something just very poetic at the fact that Life is doing it against his once upon a time lane partner of old as well. Ruler and Life, one of those historic Genji bot lanes of past years. He has really turned up and said, I'm putting the spotlight on myself. Most of the week to share. And it looks like Flandre, the veteran on the roster, getting a kill back.
Is good. Care finally dies, but he's done so much work again. The problem is all of these picks are coming at
Jesus.
Looks like Flandre, the veteran on the roster, getting a kill back.
Is good. Care
I love opportunity, guys.
So much work again.
I love opportunity. I love opportunity as an item. Blam! Just a 500 damage Q to a tank.
He's got nowhere to go. Might be able to execute again.
Lost his first rookie of the week to share. And it looks like Flandre, the veteran on the roster, getting a kill back.
Is good. Care finally dies, but he's done.
I like how Life just flashes in, even though Sterix hasn't procced on Flandre yet. Just doesn't give a shit.
Where does he go? JDG's got nowhere to go. Might be able to execute, I guess. Ari shoving in the top side. And credit to JDG, they are at the very least running people around the map. The problem is that Dragon's spawning in under a minute, and Kanavi is having to play Hayakati sacks.
And the problem here is that you can run from FPX, but you can't hide around those dragons, because you can start running them around and say, okay, it's not going to be about Dogdam, it's not going to be about... Are you also able to get into these fights in 15 seconds? We can't...
Under Renette.
Tankiness coming through nice and strong.
He's
Yagao.
not optimized against.
Oh, he has to blow his ult early.
No.
Yagao, that's a problem. He... At this point, he's going to be running forward so quickly. Charm onto him. Again, that tankiness coming through nice and strong. Yagao. Oh, he has to blow his ult early.
No.
Yagao, that's a problem. He really needs to... Do they fight in the duration of the charm now? They get the combo onto Gnar, but he's mega.
And just gets over the wall, stays alive, and they get a massive amount of damage back onto Kanavi. Milky Way throws down the Crescent Guard. Maybe I've cursed him slightly, but he will flash back out. Goes back in with the wind becomes lightning. Ruler can't quite get the kill. The health bars, though, from JDG. Higher than FPX is right now.
But they've used their ultimates, and you've still got Care with his big one, and you've got the life equalizer as well. FPX, they walk away with lower HP, but better tools to fight. Tibbers also stay out on the spot side. JDG think they're just going to lose themselves. The Dragon missing might even die to the double burn. He just about gets away, and FPX... They don't get themselves a clean fight, they get themselves a bit of a scrappy one, but they get themselves Ocean Soul, and this looks like...
That's an impressive fight by Milky Way. Let's watch him.
Coming through nice and strong. Yagao.
So he's out about a third of his HP.
Yagao, that's a problem. He really needs
He does force Yagao's ult. Engage on Djala, who Charm comes up. Kanavi is there. He gets Mega into the wall. E from Milky Way, then W. So he gets another two-man W. Then he ults. So Yagao has to walk up. Then he flashes out. So he's not actually taking damage from anybody right now, even though Missing's hitting him. Then he comes back in onto Ruler, forces Ruler's flash, forces Ruler's cleanse, and then walks away. The level of threat that this guy has in team fights is just crazy.
Still got Care with his big one, and you've got the life equalizer as well. FPX, they walk away with lower HP, but better tools to fight. Tibbers also stay out on the spot side. JDG think they're just going to lose themselves. The Dragon missing might even die to the double burn. He just about gets away, and FPX... They don't get themselves a clean fight, they get themselves a bit of a scrappy one, but they get themselves Ocean Soul, and this looks like this could be the game-changing moment where FPX could see themselves over to a 2-0 against one of the very top teams in the LPL. What a scalp this would be to take. Start of this replay, Yagao forced to use his ult early, and that kind of informs the rest of this fight. JDG need to fight before the Ari ult comes out, and it feels like you really need to get something good out of it. But this is really not the situation they want to walk towards. The frontline difference is too huge. Milky Way's Crescent Guard makes it so much easier to play around this, and they can't finish off that kill, whereas Flandre, no such defense. Beating once again, they have
Now Milky Way, even bigger threat with Ocean Soul. You can pop ult and then just regen a huge amount of his HP while nobody's able to hit him.
Purely on macro when they're behind the games. Now they're ahead. They have a lot of tools. They have an edge of Knight even on Dogdam, so he's much harder to pick off. They have the Ocean Soul. Baron's being started by Milky Way. He can't solo this, can he? I don't think he can. Not with this build. See that? That's a... Oh, Dogdam flashes forward. He's got the kill. To pick off. They have the Ocean Soul. Baron's being started by Milky Way. He can't solo this, can he? I don't think he can. Not with this build.
Dogdam flash Chain of Corruption onto Ruler. What the fuck is Ruler doing? They know he has no sums. He has no sums. He has no cleanse. And they actually get him in a pincer here. Interesting. Look at this, guys. So they're pushing up mid lane, and he realizes that they have pink ward there. So they actually just wrap... And he flashes for this, guys. That's a flash right there from Care. So Ruler is running away from the flash. Then Dogdam flash Chain of Corruptions. And they just stun lock him for the kill because he has no cleanse and no flash. That's a great play around vision by FPX, by Care.
And FPX know it. They
good call.
Ruler burned everything in the last fight. So nothing left.
FPX trying to stop JDG from coming down the front and center. This would have to be a Baron steal and nothing.
I mean, is that an int? Like, is that an int for Ruler? They have mid pushed up. You have no vision around Baron. You can't just let them get Baron. How is he supposed to play this game on Callista, guys? He has to get through Meganar, Rumble, Annie, Chain of Corruption from Varus, and a Xin Zhao. Like, he could never walk up. The Callista pick is just bad here.
I don't think he can, not with this build.
And the Flash Shirelias. I mean, Kerr has Shirelias as well, so Flash Shirelias, how does he escape? It's just a good trap laid by FPX on the threat of a Baron.
Play in the 5 versus 5, and FPX know it. They punish immediately. Ruler burned everything in the last fight. So so left.
FPX trying to stop JDG.
Like, if we're being honest, unless they Giga Smash lane, which they didn't, Callista is really unplayable in this game because you will never get in range to auto.
It wasn't supposed to be a whitewash. They get one. It's life dead. Kanavi has to back away. Flash wind becomes lightning. Does not land. They are getting something back, and actually, because of the initial kill, supposed to be a whitewash, they get one. It's life dead. Kanavi has to back away. Flash wind becomes lightning. Does not land. They are getting something back, and actually, because of the initial kill, FPX cannot claim the Baron. You would think.
I mean, life is... Oh, no, I think that Kanavi is overstayed a little bit. They're going on to Vision Charm. Lands is enough damage. They're looking for it.
He's got Crescent Guard, but watch for Kanavi. He can just kill Milky Way. No!
Oh my god, really?
Oh no, I think that Kanavi is overstayed a little bit. They're going on to Vision Charm. Lands is enough damage. They're looking
so there's
for it.
Charm.
Guard, but watch for Kanavi. He can just kill Milky Way. No!
So he knocks him back and then chains it with an E. And now he has... Okay, they finally kill him, but the price is enormous, right?
It's just a Xin Zhao. It's not anybody valuable in so many ways because you know who's left. It's the Gnar, it's the Varus, it's the death of JDG.
And they try and part the ocean, call him Moses, but it's an ocean soul too strong. And the Red Sea from the red team sees them through to a scrappy victory. And they try...
God, but watch for Kanavi. He can just kill
Yep,
Milky Way.
he actually doesn't hit the flash Q either.
He's got Crescent Guard, but watch for Kanavi.
He's short on the flash Q, so he actually doesn't get the CC, so that means Milky Way can get his ult off.
Get the kill, but at what cost? It's just a Xin Zhao. It's not anybody valuable in so many ways because you know who's left. It's the Gnar, it's the Varus, it's the death of JDG.
And they try and part the only ruler alive, and he has no hope of trying to end out this game for himself. FPX, it's been a hard-fought last couple of plays. It feels like JDG, they've tried to thread that.
I think the Renekton and the... Even with the lead the Renekton got, the Renekton and the Callista are really very difficult to play into FPX's draft this game.
Get interesting though. Life gets a little bit separated. He gets massively caught out by the VIT Ori combo beyond this point, and that means that Life can't contribute to this fight. Flandre avoids the Gnar CC entirely as well. This is about as good as you can possibly hope from JDG, and even then they can't quite end this off. I wonder if they should have just backed off from here, because this is the key moment. Great chunk onto Milky Way. There is a Vi over the wall with Flash, and he just misses it. How disastrous is that? If that Q Flash hits, that is a dead...
He got to Flash to close to kill him too.
And maybe the fight's turns.
It's the Molten Shield speed up. He gets an extra step and he's just wide. That's how close that was, I think.
It is a game of not just inches, but like a tenth of a Teemo. It is so close in these games.
That Red Sea winning, and JD
not down, but he's life. He doesn't have a Zhonya's. He doesn't have a user. Ends in a 2-0. It's looking like it.
Replay again and missing. Finds something. The slow coming on through. Yugao goes over the wall, and he has got a lot of the gold. The problem is this Ari's had to go things like Morello's. It's utility build. This isn't a carry Ari.
Yeah. So folks, again, housekeeping here. The nature of this scenario is that it is so tense. But when you're looking at these builds as well, Yugao is 5-1. Imagine if he had a Lich Bane. Imagine if he had a Magi as an inventory as well. He didn't have as good. He didn't have the early Dark Seal stack for all of them. Maybe you would have lost those stacks either way. But you just have to think and wonder, Yugao, if he had gone less towards the utility.
Yeah, Life does deserve MVP for this series. He's been great.
You just need the HP, something to manage, but it's come at cost. How do you now carry the game when you're the one with the gold? It's not happening bot lane and JDG.
So often with JDG, it has been about can ruler carry. He's had a hard time of it though. That's another ult landing.
It's brutal. Kanavi just doesn't get to do anything. The Fate's call comes on through, but I think this Fate is a dodgy one indeed. You should have found something better at Lunar New Year, boys, because that one comes out of the shrine and
no king in this split.
How long will it take before people start to really
30-minute Elder.
Have to contest?
Another ult lands.
Oh my god.
Flashing alive, but so low.
Kanavi trying to get in a pit. Jello, who is here, is gonna Mega Gnar him. No shot.
Now the Elder Dragon about to be secured.
Live just flashing over the wall.
Running. It's fruitless.
The game is over. Ruler once again slowed. Shaola who throws a boulder at his face. And there is nowhere left to run, nowhere left to hide. Your kingdom is they are Milky Way.
Amazing.
They
This
are
2-0. What
contenders,
great games
and
from
they are
FPX,
working
honestly.
their
They played
way
really
toward
well.
the very top
This is actually
of
one of the more
table.
convincing FPX wins. There wasn't any fucking, like,
Congratulations to
weird mind control,
Phoenix
plot
for
armor
victory over
bullshit.
the three-peat champions of the LPL.
What a series, guys! That was joyful. I had a lot of fun with that.
As did I. I walked into today thinking it could be a 3-game series, but honestly, I thought that it would be a bot diff. I thought that Milky Way would be able to maybe get some fun
Best series by Dokdom this year? Not saying a whole lot, but he played better in this one, yeah. Yeah, very impressive play, though. Go subscribe to Nightmara's channel, guys, because he puts out this content, so appreciate being able to listen to him rather than just the Chinese cast. I am going to go to the bathroom, and then we'll get into some LEC games in just a minute, guys. All right. Let's get into LEC. Watched a couple of G2 games yesterday. They were very good. So let's get into G2. Gamers 2. Great name, guys. Great name.
What we've learned is that early game leads don't always convert into
Gamers 2, a samurai for some reason. You know?
Immediately into the pick and man. Now remember,
Doesn't have to make sense.
leave Smolder up.
No, I didn't. I missed the the R6 Invitational Finals.
They want to lock in the Smolder for themselves. I mean, why not? It's available, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So, what is Carmine Corp's response? Does Upset play
I heard it was
for
epic though.
himself? Does he have another 80 carry? Because bear in mind, that's 5. That is 5 80 carry gone in this game.
So now that we've had all off the board, as you said, we just got to consider the options. There's no range to come through with the virus.
All right, here we go. Back to the Smolder. We got to see Han Sama play the Kokma into the Smolder in the last game. He also got a pentakill in Smolder in his first game, so we're either smoldering or anti-smoldering.
We know that Caps is happy to play Nico into it. Of course, depending on what junglers you go, things like Ari can also be very effective.
3 bans for Hans is crazy. It's 3 bans for Hans every game, guys. Like, Kalista and Draven are always banned, and then Varus is just powerful.
Things go. Carmine Corp. Oh, they're going to go for the Senna, so they're going to try and match scaling for scaling. Senna will have...
Oh boy, Oriana for Saken. He can Saken these nuts. You know what I mean?
We're looking at potentially something like a Sejuani in the jungle.
Okay, taking Jarvan to lock down the Senna. Huge amounts of crowd control for Senna.
Now, if Carmine Corp want to, they can lock in the North, and then they can look to ban away things like the Braum, the Renata, annoying things that could get in the way of North.
I do not understand. Can you please explain the joke? Medic. You make Medic hard. Do I need to explain that one?
This is more like an LPL style of bottom lane here. I think Targamas had a lot of issues with some of the engaged supports last split. It is nice to see him on, a bit of a mixed bag. I guess you call him more defensive bag in the time. Kench, and as you said, on top of that, maybe getting rid of some supports that deal with it. Might not be the Nautilus in play, but getting rid of the blitz that could deal with the time. That could be
just taking out Blitz so you can't... I mean, Blitz is such a ridiculous counter to Senna, Tom, Kench. Grabbing the Kench with somebody inside it, totally OP.
In my head, I was like, it's something like a Kindred or a Grave, something that he's thinking about. But they, do they think that Bo wants to that
jungler historically when
very effective matchup in favor?
And no, taking the Lee Sin away is also good because that way you can't Lee Sin, get Tom Kench Lee Sin kicked into your team with somebody inside of him either.
It's like the strongest mid jungle combo, but there's definitely potential there once the Oriana gets level 6. They have a lot of damage available to them. The Gragas being locked in definitely suggests it's going to be their blind pick top laner for Broken Blades. So how are they going to round out this draft? What are they looking for? Perhaps a little more engage, a little more utility.
some supplementary engage.
Classic Smolder Alistair. All right, no, we're going for some more, just even more engage. Just giga engage from G2.
But for Cabo, he has red side counter.
I mean, I kind of like the Gragas here because you can actually Gragas barrel somebody with Tom Kench into your team. Like, if somebody has been devoured by Tom Kench, you can Gragas barrel them in as well. And it's so disruptive because you can also use Gragas barrel to remove Tom Kench, like move him away from somebody that he's going to devour. And he's generally speaking a very safe top laner. You also, I mean, because this lane is going to be so passive, you're basically just trying to say, okay, we're going to trade scaling for scaling with Smolder, so you guess you could just take Rakan here. And it doesn't matter because he's not going to get punished, and you have even more engage potential later. Plus, you can charm the Tom Kench, so he can't do anything.
Yeah, my only issue with Casey's...
Did I see Humanoid's tweet after draft? No, I did not.
You do have ways to start fights, but...
I mean, I don't really see how you stop the Smolder is the problem. And you do have decent ball delivery with Gnar, but Smolder should be very safe as long as Mega Gnar isn't up.
Only issue with Casey's draft right now is that they're engaged in the easiest.
Very true.
You do have ways to start fights, but they're not straightforward. You know, you have flanking opportunities. Maybe if Orianna can find that shockwave, maybe if Cabo has that Mega Gnar and he can find a good ultimate, but G2 have a lot of
He said time to watch how Chovy plays the lane for the 15-minute break after draft.
Oh, look at that. We set up the champions.
I mean, G2 is the team that they will lose that game or two during the regular season.
Of course they will. But then they'll still go to MSI.
They'll still find their way. I mean, of course, they have locked a spot at MSI thanks to winning Winter.
There you go.
But they can cement that first seed if they can win Spring. And
I've never been a fan of Age of Empires, really. Just never a game I got into, but I'm glad it's doing well.
Such a high priority in Jarvan's
I want a new RTS. I want a new RTS.
But I don't know if those buffs were enough to warrant such a high priority on the champion. Obviously, he's a champion. He's very good at early ganks. Super straightforward. He EQ into engage.
Yep. Sorry, Benny. Struggling to kind of get that into my brain.
Why does Cajal dislike pre-recorded draft? Because he thinks that it makes bad habits because players have time to see the matchups and then practice them between the pre-recorded draft and the time the game starts. So he thinks it's not going to be good practice for international competition because that's obviously not what happens in Korea and China. But in playoffs, they will not do, at least in LCS, they're not going to do pre-recorded drafts. So in the best of fives, you're still going to get drafting as normal. Personally, I think the trade-off is worth the lower downtime for viewership reasons, guys. I'll take that trade.
In that 1v1. So we know that he's good at the champ.
Yeah.
Range matchups can be challenging, but for Gragas, I think he's one of the better ones because the amount of sustain.
The reason they do pre-recorded drafts is it cuts downtime between games significantly. Just saw Dune 2, hoping you guys look at it on Nerd Legion. Guess what I recorded this morning, SM Parish 95. It was a Nerd Legion episode on Dune 2. And on top of that, the next arc for Foreplay is Denis Villeneuve movies. So we will also do Dune 1 as part of that.
Invest in him early, or maybe even try and attack Upset and Targamas. He's really enabling Upset and Targamas to be set up for success here within the first 2 minutes of the game.
Bo travels back to his bottom side. Was in quite deep. Remember the start on the opposite side of the map. Yike is going to translate that into a vertical map in top as well, with a very pushed up Cabo shard. So that is an angle to look at. As you said, the Smolder, the investment not going to be there with the slow push, with the control thanks to Bo. Giving that center Tom.
When am I going to do the David Lynch Dune? Yeah, you know. It's going to be difficult after having watched Fade Rotha in the most recent Dune to go back to, like, Sting in a leather thong Fade Rotha. You know what I mean?
Caps continues to have a great year.
Why was Sting cast in that role? I love David Lynch. What was he smoking? Interesting. Now, may I remind you guys that Smolder is absolutely fucking useless in lane. So the fact that this can even happen is pretty outrageous. I mean, Mickey X hits 3 and then immediately engages. And he dodges, actually, the Abyssal Dive. But they get every single summoner just for an Ignite. Hansama running TP. Interesting. Okay.
I was not expecting that. I mean, Smolder, when he gets level 3, has more damage than you expect. I mean, but Mickey with the knock-up there, I think, is really what set it up. The Ignite coming through very quickly as well. They don't have that combat summoner on the side of KC. The heal being used early to disengage. Flash gets burnt from Upset. And you talked about it. Coming into this game, Hysterics. Will KC's bot lane be allowed just in the isolated 2v2? We were critical of G2's bot lane at the start of Winter, but they've definitely found their form. And they're looking to try and win as many of these lanes as possible.
And they get the push in bot as well. Now remember, Targamas is the one absorbing the CS, but Senna loses salts. So it's still quite a big difference that's going to be created, considering that upset as he comes now. Maybe lost 2 or 3 minutes. Maybe not as big as I'm painting it out to be with the huge wave that now crashes in. But for KC, still, that crash comes through. Gives a bit of timing for Hans.
We'll keep an eye on this TP. I mean, this is kind of a hilarious adaptation, guys, because you just know that this is going to be a Giga Farm Fest versus Senna Tom Kench. So why not just go ahead and take TP? I like this quite a bit. Dylan Falco winning again. TL didn't even consider Sven for their ADC role. I mean, that's pretty outrageous considering, like, even though he's been playing support, he's a grinder and he's definitely better than Yun.
Bo gets out. First grab, remember, is still the EXP that you want. So 1 for 2. But no one cares about it. Grubs are grubs. Grubs are grubs. EXP's great, but in the long run, I'll say it again. Dragons.
Yeah, Tom has teleport too. You always take teleport with like Tom Kench in these lanes when Senna is fasting. So you can match TPs later. It's pretty fun adaptation, actually. I'm into it. Have you covered the double lift dodo drama? We'll be talking about that on SI in 4 hours.
Thank you, observers. Cabo Shard. No Mega Gnar there, but Broken Blade again with good trades on his Gragas. What's in those barrels?
Tasty beverage, one would imagine.
One that is PG-13 plus.
I imagine that too.
But not 18.
Well, Casey have been forced off of this. Caps getting level 6, making his way into the river. Casey were too hesitant to actually take that fight. Golf claps come through from the audience.
Now one person really likes Hex-Tech Dragons dying. Really big fan of that. I don't like that one.
Broken Blade forced to use the ultimate.
Took a turret shot. No flash available for Cabo Shard. Boomerang. Nah, good timing at the body slam as well. Also, got some plan here, so he's got a bit of sustain. He'll be able to sustain the lane.
A lot of sustain. That's a lot of mana back for Broken Blade. Yeah. Well, CS advantage still exists for Cabo, as you would expect in the Rangers in any matchup. Hansama continues to stack up. 40 stacks right now. Not bad. Nothing too crazy.
Have we kind of considered what is great at the moment? Maybe pausing that bow and look towards mid. Hang on, there's a flash bot side. Mum flies. So remember, Upset lost a bit of experience and almost dies because of it. Kind of considered what is great at the moment.
I mean, Upset is still level 4 here because he's just been bullied out of lane. So, I mean, the timings on this have been very good from G2.
Nothing too crazy.
Have we kind of considered what is great at the moment? Maybe pausing that bow and look towards
Right, he just powers in there. He knows the flash still isn't up yet for Upset. I'm not sure about Carmine Corp playing for farm on Targamas out of all people on this team, guys. Seems to me that even though Senna is strong, maybe this ain't the strategy you want when Targamas is your support player.
Good utilization of the pressure that he has from both mid and top. Saken moving over to assist with that.
Now, I find the funniest thing about the Team Liquid drama is, like, why would Dodo want Double Lift back on Liquid when Double Lift literally just quit halfway through a fucking year and said Spring Split doesn't matter while he was on Liquid? Like, why do you want that guy back on your team? That sounds like a fucking GM's nightmare. Like, is this guy just going to quit again?
Good job. He's not falling prey, but he does actually, because he flashes. Deny. This just 500, 400 gold. Cabo will extend that a bit. As with all that
So it's a fake recall here. Caps goes back into the wave as a minion. Saken cannot count that there are 4 melee minions. He actually uses it, and then he flashes. Okay. He literally uses QW on the wave. Whatever. I can't believe this Carmine Corp team. Whatever.
Caps lost a lot of HP trying to set up that play. I mean, it definitely was. Should be able to heal that back. He still has his 3 biscuits. Don't obviously offer a huge amount of health, but it's better than nothing. That should help with some of the mana issues, given that he's so low right now. Mickey looking for something in the enemy jungle.
Be quiet there. Thought KC fans left for 9 minutes, you know.
Trying to keep the energy high. Yet to find first blood. A little surprising.
Possibly the alluded doublelist teams, leading game teams usually ends in a bad way. I mean, you can see that for yourself. He literally just gave up on Liquid. There's not another way to read that situation.
Second plate. Senna in the mid lane. The Handsummer's gold is only going to continue to climb.
I mean, Targamas can't walk up to this by himself. They're going to bring the whole squad down, Betty. I just wonder, are G2 aware of this? There's no vision in River.
Bit of danger. Here comes the engage.
Okay, Hansama safe for now. Chu slows them down. Boaz kick available. And flashes a flash on top with Sake and Shockwave.
Bit of danger. Here comes the engage.
Nice. This is actually a good play. I mean, nice ball delivery here.
Slows them down. Boaz kick available.
Flashes on top. Gets Shockwave. Kicks Hansama back. They get both kills. There you go. I mean, this is a very awkward position because you never expect to be kind of winning laned like this as the Smolder lane. They get Hansama's flash too. He flashes on top of the Lee Sin flash. He flashes into the Shockwave basically.
And all of a sudden, KC on the board with one big power play.
What a wombo combo. The ball delivery system is a flashing blind monk. Great engage from KC. They find themselves first blood. They convert it into 2. And while Caps will get a plate back, I think KC can be pretty happy.
G2, hard pushing bot.
So what they'll do is they'll use the Shockwave first, and then Bo will flash at just the right time to make sure that it connects.
Oh,
beautifully done by Bo. He then kicks the dragon back. And just very well played. They even hand the kill over to Upset. KC punishing the aggression from G2's bot side. Bit of frustration, hard to tell with Dylan Falco. Stone cold as ever.
Yeah. His head's not in his hands and they're not getting frustrated. Or more frustration.
Dylan Falco is just a coach who can keep calm because he's seen the most happy gaming in the universe from his players. He's been through it all, guys. His players have put him through every possible human emotion that a coach can have.
They took pride in last splits. They often talked a lot about it, the main focus area of improvement. And so we'll see how KC can keep up with them and their movements around the map.
I think one of the big issues with KC was their mid-game last split, you know, the ability to hold leads. I think a lot of LEC teams, you could say the same.
And quite frankly, just poor decisions, right? They would pick poor
Which
fights.
usually happen in the mid-game when people are fighting more, you know?
Sometimes they would like start these objectives and...
That's why his hair is so gray, guys. It's Caps' fault, really.
Let's see how they navigate this. We haven't
It's Caps and Mickey X have actually turned Dylan Falco's hair gray.
Still very important.
He's like Obama in the before and after pictures when Obama was in office.
Frankly, I feel like the Jarvan is a champion that needs to be doing something. You know, if he's just full clearing every respawn of the camps, then I feel like that there were better options that you could have picked. You know, I think one of the strengths of Jarvan is its early game utility. But now the Dragon Beam started off. G2 already have the first one. Can they secure the second? Hansama in a bit of an awkward angle here.
Is indeed. G2 are sitting in the pit. There's the flash from Mickey, but he gets no one. Mum onto Targamas.
Can they secure the second? Hansama in a bit of an awkward angle here.
Is indeed. G2 are sitting in the pit. There's the flash from Mickey, but he gets
Whoops.
no one. Mum onto Targamas.
It's alright, he got Targamas eventually with the charm.
KC have already got the burn of ultis. Dragon goes
Caps has ult, Caps has flash, and there's a Jarvan follow-up.
Flashes forward. Targamas upset. KC are fine with this.
G2?
They're damn fine. Broken Blade has come in.
G2?
Die late as well. Just like that.
Uh-huh.
G2
You hate to see that one.
Indeed. G2 are sitting in the pit. There's the flash from
The Devour is still up, guys.
I don't think so. They're going to dive on in.
So you get the root down, right? You kill it, and you're like, oh, all right, time to turn, boys. Flash Pop Blossom doesn't hit Targamas, and Targamas literally just walks up and eats Upset, and then Caps is stuck inside the Jarvan ult and gets killed by Seiken. Broken Blade has no mana when he comes in, misses his body slam, casks, and then literally can't do anything else. Okie dokie.
Like that, it's G2, 6-0 down. Dragon goes down, but it's Pop Blossom on Cap. Tries to save the play. Maybe it's okay. Cataclysm out. Flushes forward. Targamas
Yike flash for that knockup, too, onto the Tom Kench. That was a pretty cringe fight by G2, guys. That's hilarious.
Just like that, it's G2, 6-0 down.
Bo completely making fun of G2 and Seiken securing a triple kill. KC
But they got Drake. It's okay, guys. I have not watched Heretics versus Fnatic yet, no.
6-0 in kills right now, a 3k gold lead. And it starts off with a blunder initiation from Mickey. Look at the reaction here from Bo. Ward over the wall, sidesteps the engage. Mom effectively useless. Caps now getting chipped away from the HP of Seiken. A nice flash engage locks them up. But then the consume from Targamas keeps Upset alive. Look at this play from Upset.
Nice kick, too. Did you see that kick? CC's both Mickey X and... Look at this kick from Bo. Comes back out. Kicks Mickey, Q2's onto him, gets on top of Hansama. Very nicely played.
Then comes over the wall and Seiken there to finish off the kill. Very well played fight from KC. The coaching staff naturally elated. To get a win against G2 would be massive to start off.
And that's how Dylan's hair got a little more gray.
Oh yeah, completely different KC is kind of our story. However, it's got to get through the motions of the game, right? We've got a 3k gold lead. The problem is G2 can muck about and then people find out. People find out they're up a river without a paddle when they go up against G2. And that's, of course, giving them preface because of being
Up a canoe without a river, as they say.
Now we praise KC and we look at this play and think, man, Seiken is the beneficiary. 4-0 on this Orianna, 2 items.
Yeah, 100% KP.
About to be 2 items that need.
Seiken.
Well.
Have I already watched G2 versus Carmine? This is my first time seeing it. I don't watch VODs, generally speaking, on this stream that I've already seen, guys.
There's going to be an open turret sooner or later.
The only air of skepticism I have.
I gave the air of skepticism.
No, it's not even just G2. It's just in the previous 2 games, we've seen this exact.
I'm in Korea. I'm asleep when these games are on.
There is a smolder.
Well, that could be an issue.
Yeah, that could be an issue.
Senna.
I mean, you're definitely right. I mean, KC openly left the smolder up, and they said, we believe that we have a champion that can match in terms of scale.
He's at 137 stacks already, and it's the one... I mean, this is where it really starts to take off for Smolder, right? Because he has the upgrade on the Q, so he can farm faster. So it's going to get real scary real fast. This is looking like a 22-minuter on the 225 stacks, depending on what he can take. If he can take some other, like, you know, mini Raptors or mini Krugs, or if he gets a good team fight where he procs a lot of W and R farm stacks.
Dragon, excuse me, turret goes down. Completely different objects in the game. But that is first turret of the game, by the way. First brick is going to be shattered by KC top wall Caps. Going to get this push in the bottom side. Try and get a trade.
And NFL free agency moves. Oh, man. Excited for Russell Wilson for the Steelers. That shit's hilarious. That shit is hilarious. Dude, Saquon Barkley to the Eagles is such a traitor move. I love it. My wife is a Giants fan. She's in shambles. But I'm happy because Barkley deserves to be on a team where he might be able to win a title at some point. He's too good to fucking waste his entire career on the garbage-ass Giants.
No, I don't. When you think of Tom Kent, you think Lickitung. That's what you think.
I remember Nintendo 64, Pokemon Stadium. There's a game, you know, as Lickitung, you'd eat sushi.
I do remember
Him and
that.
Tiki's back and forth. Yeah.
Old man.
It's not that bad. There's still be people out there who are like 5 years younger.
Dude,
with the same experience.
who cares? Like Saquon, if the Giants are not going to provide Saquon with a good contract, or you know, GM a not complete shit team, then he deserves to go elsewhere. He's not obligated to just be on garbage teams forever.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
You know, like, am I sad that Justin Simmons got released by the Broncos? Sure, but I also hope Justin Simmons goes somewhere where he might be able to win a title because he's too good not to be on a team that makes playoffs. And the Broncos are just tanking now, so.
Pop used.
Flashes away. They get a free flash.
TP response.
Broken Blade waiting for it though. Explosive cask in hand. It's only Targa. So
And this will leave the dragon, well, in an awkward spot. 'Cause
waiting for it though. Bot in front of Dragon.
What are we doing?
Seeing something done. Maybe top
Here
side
we
that's going
go.
to change. Cabashard
So Kevishard can get out of this. He has flash, guys. So he flashes out.
flashes away. They get a
Why are we TPing here? Why are we TPing?
response.
Broken Blade waiting for it though. Explosive cask in hand. It's only Targa. So
And this will leave the dragon, well, in an awkward
Okay, we
spot.
just burned TB for no reason.
He's still here, so
I love G2, man. And they're like, well, he's gone now. Let's just TP ourselves. Why not?
teleporting for this.
Here comes Caps.
Cabo's out with the minion wave flash.
Oh, no. Everything is shit.
a comedy of errors as G2 failed to connect any CC on a Cabo. He gives him the
No, it's all right. Caps has been super good, guys. He's been super good in the other couple games this split so far. That was funny, though. I like the idea, but instead they just give up Drake for free, which is kind of silly.
and so much
Remember that
in an
they
awkward
used
spot.
TP to go topside, and they had pressure in the bot lane. Like, look at this. And then he goes back and TP's up there instead of just making a play onto Drake.
Goal where
I mean, it was going to be hard because Yike was already up there, but they don't maintain pressure. Pittsburgh got a steal. I mean, whoever got Russell for vet minimum was going to get a steal. I mean, I don't think the Steelers are going to be good,
they lost to Rogue
but
last split.
Very true.
I think it's just going to be funny.
Did they lose to KC? I've completely blanked. Was that one of their last games of the split?
You'd like me to find out, wouldn't you?
I've completely forgot. I know KC won.
Yeah,
to
Kirk
Rogue.
Cousins. The exciting one is Kirk Cousins on the Falcons. Falcons might actually be good now.
I honestly don't remember how I got here. So, G2 versus KC. No, they did beat them.
Okay, okay.
G2 lost to Rogue, as you said. You know, that was the comedy game. Vitality is what you can put in there because Vitality last week weren't the
Vitality.
same.
Yes.
But-
Okay.
But no, on your point, I mean, this is G2, and I know a lot of people at home will be like, you guys just give excuses to G2. Well, they keep winning. That's the problem. They keep winning, like, playoffs.
Give us a fair shot to make playoffs.
Going to MSI. The first team
I mean, you have Tomlin. He's like a great coach.
It's the
So
benefit of the doubt, but like
Yeah.
in this position,
Steelers always go to playoffs,
This is their game to lose.
basically.
With the composition they have, I think they're in a great spot. Center is at 7.
As a fellow Broncos fans, our next 2 to 3 years look rough. Yeah, but it's better to do it this way. You know, it's just better to do it this way than to just like. I mean, the fucking clown parade has been going on so long in Denver at this point in time since 2015 and the Super Bowl win that they just need a full reset and commit to it. Like all the fucking Band-Aid moves, all the fucking Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater, Joe Flacco, Russell Wilson, bullshit Band-Aid seasons just have to stop. Like, whatever, just lose. Just go get Arch Manning. Just lose until you get Arch Manning. The dream.
You'll clean this up.
It was Mother's Day, of course, at least in the UK on Sunday. Shout out to all the mums out there.
Oh, props to all mums.
Yeah.
Was it actually? I don't think.
Yeah, in the UK it was.
Yeah, the UK. That's why. You know, I'm not.
That's what I think.
Same ever in the world, which is always confusing.
Peyton calls up his nephew Arch and says, "Hey,
You would think so.
I love the
There's
Broncos.
also questions
It's time to go to the
about saving
Broncos."
time, my friend. I still don't
How many more Mannings are there?" Well, Peyton also has 2 kids, but they're in
Makes sense.
middle school.
Zones make sense.
In general, yeah. Daylight savings time could be a big argument. But national holiday.
There's an infinite amount of Mannings.
One is
True.
Is it, Arch is a freshman, yes, but the Broncos are going to suck for a while. So
We're just on the defense. Target's flashed for that. Han Summer with this next wave will have full stacks. I feel like at 20-minute mark, that's still pretty good.
Ideally, Casey would love to take this tower down because it's easier to move into the enemy jungle when you unlock that. You can see Casey getting a bit of vision down. That's immediately going to be cleared out by the Scryer's blue. Of course, enhanced thanks to the Chem Salt we have on the rip. Caps finally going to secure G2's first tower of the game.
Yeah.
How does G2 get out of this hole?
For KC, they just keep killing City.
I guess it's just Smolder gets stacks. Oh, guys, I was right. He just hit 226. It was actually before 22 minutes. He was on a very fast pace this game, though, because of how well his lane was going. And he has a gold advantage, so I guess game is just over now because they actually just can't kill Smolder, probably. I mean, they have to hope that Bo makes a pretty epically Sin play, or they fight during Meganar when Hansama doesn't have flash.
To give this one over. Maybe they sit there and say, you know what, we just want to scale more. We have Smolder on our side. Caps still wants a few more items before we force a fight. They have that choice. The question is, are they in the same mindset as us? Do they think that they need to fight this dragon, or are they happy to concede it? Because they could trade it for like a top tier 1, for example. Maybe they actually trade it for mid tier 1. Both mid towers still being up 22 minutes in is obviously a very long time. Seiken has pushed in that top wave, has the TP available to him, but is already going to start making his way down to join with the rest of his team. Cabo actually abandoned that bot wave, a little cautious because he doesn't have full information as to where everyone is. Caps now being spotted on top should help him. He's now moving over towards mid. That will give them a numbers advantage and a bit of deeper vision towards this bot side jungle.
Let's just remember for KC.
I mean, there's no reason that G2 actually has to fight this. I mean, who cares if they get fucking 4 Chemtech Drakes? Just infinite stack the fucking Smolder, you know what I mean? Yeah, just cross map. Just get some more gold. Get your teammates back in this game, guys. Just get your teammates back in this game. Don't fuck with the Drake. Who cares? Good job, G2. You're not suiciding into a useless Drake. That was a good call by G2. You know, put a little bit of pressure on. Motion over there. Don't overextend in the mid lane. A real goal, just take tier 1 and top.
Remember this next feud here. Mum once again. Targamas is getting burnt down. He's in the cataclysm, but he's not dying.
I mean, he's not going to die. Not yet. Not enough damage there with just a Smolder on 2 items.
Caps on the flank. He's cautious, and he should rightfully be so. Bo was just there ready. They thought they could punish Targamas, far too tanky. When Seiken does arrive, Yike was forced to flash away because the shockwave was coming through.
If you have the lead, shouldn't you just push it? How do you push the lead here if you're Karmine Corp? You can't really do Baron right now. You unfortunately lost the first 2 Drakes because your bot lane traded very badly in the early game, had no sum, so the fucking Smolder lane got pressure somehow. Smolder lanes should not be able to just to take 2 early Drakes for free, guys. Even if you're handshaking scaling, those early trades by Karmine Corp were very bad. And the fact that they got all summoner spells out of the bot side and trade for like 1 fucking ignite on Mickey X was terrible. It was a terrible trade. Worst trade deal in the history of trade deals for Karmine Corp.
But yeah, I wonder who is scariest, Smolder or Senna?
That is a great question. Well, I mean, Senna keeps getting range. Mum once again. You got to think with how many times Mum gets called, that's got to be Dad at some point, right?
Nope, because it's called Mum.
Yeah, but still, like Mum's cooldown is not that long. There's no way. Call the father, uncle, somebody deal with this, bro. There's no way whatsoever as Cap tries to get a Tangle Barbs out, upset, tags him, and tag him again. Nor does Bo. Mickey's coming back in, but remember, he just burned his flash.
Really like the way in which Upset used the wards to then apply the Q to connect onto Caps there. Of course, can't really convert it into much else. Casey just kind of dancing around. Scaling continues. 102 stacks now hit for Upset.
We're just waiting for the Smolder to scale infinitely, get 1 gazillion items from farming out mid lane. He's still actually he's literally just going and continuing to farm small raptors right now. Even though he already has the 225 stacks. Just get more stacks, why not? Worst trade deal than the Russell Wilson one? Yeah, it's pretty bad. You know, What tilts me about people's narrative is, was the Russell Wilson deal bad? Of course it was. It wasn't even the worst trade of that season, guys. Everybody's like, wow, is the Russell Wilson deal the worst NFL trade of all time? Well, first off, we have the Herschel Walker trade, so no. And second off, it wasn't even the worst trade of that season. Did you guys see the Deshaun Watson trade? Holy shit, that was 1,000,000 times worse.
Finally siege onto this. They're looking for the fight.
Oh, it's perfect! It's perfect! It's the...
Jesus. Cabashard in bot side, in mini Gnar. They push up mid lane. He splashes Q onto them. And, of course, just a beautiful little arc here. We have the Gragas coming from behind. Right? We have the Nico. Everybody collapsing. They have... By the way, guys, this is where it's dangerous. When you're trying to push up, but you have no side lane pressure, and you don't have any vision on this side, it makes it very dangerous to do this. And remember the kind of composition that G2 is running. Hard engage, hard engage, hard engage, hard engage. Like, they have a ton of tools, and they time this basically perfectly, and they start getting the execute stacks down immediately. So there you go. You just catch out 3 with the Jarvan ult immediately. Immediately into Gragas engage. Flash body slam into Charm. Oh, God. Into Pop Blossom. So beautiful. All right, well, there's Baron. Okay, game's over now. Well, it was fun while it lasted.
One fight in the mid game. All it takes is one moment in the mid game, and G2 are back.
And this is what we talk about when it comes to G2. They've earned that pedigree. They've earned that right that you can never really afford to count them out. A great fight found in the mid lane.
Beautifully played by G2, though.
Completely by surprise. The Baron is going to be unlocked. No jungler, no smite. Can Casey stop this from being secured?
Baron's going to go down. All it takes is a smite. Yike can't let it go, and he won't. As now low health bars bring Casey in to try and get a fight off the back, and Mickey is taken out. So only 4 Barons left as KC continue to chase up. Caps now out with the Mega Blast Cone. Cabo flashes Tangle Barbs. Caps dies too. How much else can they get onto Broken Blade? Is Targa alone? No, Cabo's...
That's an acceptable trade, though, for all those kills plus a Baron, and Targamas is just isolated.
Still get executed with the shield down. Mum flies through.
Oh, Q. Cabashard? No, you don't want to do that, Cabo.
And now Baron be damned. Yike comes in, makes it a yakety sack. We're dancing around. Throws there. Flag and drag. Shockwave. Dead under the turret.
Kind of hilarious. They still get away with 1 Baron buff onto Broken Blade.
In the top lane, Casey wanted to take as many Barons away from G2 as possible, but we have to go all the way back to this fight in mid. Look at the angle from Broken Blade and Yike.
Dude, it's just the synergy. Right? Jarvan ult, flash body slam, cask. So nasty. Charm from Rakan ult.
Targamas is good to keep Saken alive, but the shockwave can't do much to turn it around. Cabo does. Mickey comes in with the engage follow-up. Broken Blade keeps them in place, though. The ultimate from Targamas is good to keep Saken alive, but the shockwave can't do much to turn it around. Cabo doesn't have any rage stored up in the tank, doesn't have the ultimate available, and it is just a one-sided fight for G2. But the re-engage from Casey is spectacular. Back into the action. Two down who have nothing left. All of the ultimates have been used. Everything is gone. And so Casey's just looking to get pick after pick, but we're straight back into the action.
Explosive cast, beautiful. Saken's caught out. The Oriana's caught out. Take away the Baron, sure, but G2 keep taking away lives from KC to make this a
Saken is the most useless player to have a gold lead on, guys. He never does anything with his leads.
Has basically been equalized. G2 going to put themselves on soul point. KC have shown some impressive fights. I love the confidence that we have been seeing from this KC squad. They seem much more coordinated, even if it was a bit overzealous towards the end of that skirmish. Yeah. They were able to get so many Barons off of G2. You can see only 1,000 gold is the Baron power play. But G2 are unrelenting in their aggression.
Bo and Targmas lucky to get out. In a turret next on the menu is for G2. 4 members approach mid. Bo's trying to defend, but how ambitious is he right now? Sonic Wave goes to a miss. In a turret drops on down. The onslaught with, I think we've got 1 Baron left remaining. Of course, it was Broken Blade who still survived, so with that 1 Baron push, Casey are getting onslaughted. Explosive cast, see you later.
Right, gonna flank, drag away to safety. That. Ooh,
Gage.
Dyke in danger. Ooh, nice.
Flag and drag.
Nice turn.
It's close.
Oh, Lord.
Everybody, you know the story, you know the legend. They might look good from KC, but then you clap your hands, put them
Uh-huh. Targamas licks Yike, tries to Abyssal Voyage onto him. And then he gets Mega CC'd. It is a good shockwave that comes in, but Caps is already on top of them. The 4-man Pop Blossom. And you get a very, very powerful Smolder dealing damage from the backside. Also, look at that Smolder ult. Holy shit, look at those just crushing their HP bars. Did you see the field of view for this fight? Add some nice context.
The shockwave was so good from Seiken, but the ultimate from Caps was even better.
I'll check it. I'll check it out. Thanks, Medic. We'll watch it right now.
Continues to flourish. 3-0 at the end of the first week. That's G2.
Caps, man. I really thought Seiken had found the shockwave to win them another fight, but then he just...
Okay, good. It's in potato quality. Please don't potato quality me. Yeah, they don't see Caps right here. Ah, he was disguised as a melee minion. Very nice. It's a beautiful play by Caps. Dude, the combo with the ult is just so good, too. Mickey X delays the minion, too. Let's check it out. Check it out. Oh, I see. Oh, that's so clever, actually. Damn, G2 is so good. Thanks, Medic. I wouldn't have noticed that otherwise. Yeah, this is very deceptive. Because if you look at this counter engage, if you look at this counter engage from Caps right here, yeah, you do see Mickey X just body blocking this minion. So it makes it easier for Caps to get this engage. I mean, I believe that they probably planned that. That seems like something Mickey X would do in that situation. Thank you, Medic. All right, onward we go. Heretics Fanatic. I think we'll have to get to BDS Vitality tomorrow, guys. This is probably going to be the last one for today, because I have to eat some dinner before summoning Insight.
Triple 80 carry ban. The flex of the Hui. Also the Orianna taken up against Team Heretics. Talia ban as well. I saw these things like far.
I mean, it's like, which roles are OP? And you look at the bans, you know?
There you go.
I mean, we also think about Humanoid's champion pool as well. I mean, he is a big fan of Orianna. He thinks he's very strong. And as a reminder, competitively, Azir is banned right now. Not available. So first pick, what will it be? Smolder, perhaps?
True.
The question is, does Fnatic have a good answer? We have seen the...
All right, Smolder.
From Noah. That's also been one of the typical answers. In
Oh,
Smolder.
boy.
I love the Cogmore that we saw from Han Summer. Like this, you know that
Volibear Ari. Okay, so Volibear technically is a flex pick that you can save till later in the draft. Nico and Nautilus. Rel, super strong jungler right now. Again, possible jungle support flex, so you're not really showing anything. Take out Vi and Jin Zhao, so skirmish junglers off the table a little bit. And TF and Kaisa. So they take out some backline lockdown because they want to take Zeri into the Smolder. So we're seeing the scaling AD handshake. And the Nautilus, though, is good into Zeri, right? Allows you to actually get lockdown by using a targeted CC on the ultimate, and Lee Sin can still get into the backline in order to attack her. And it will be Renekton in the top side. This is a very powerful 2v2 right now. This is super powerful, guys. Very, very dangerous 2v2 in the top side. Also, the setup here in the 2v2 in mid, very good because you can Volibear Q into Charm from Ahri. Sets up a stun directly into an Ahri Charm, so the combo potential is very good. And you can press the attack down, so Ahri does a gazillion damage with Charm and follow-up abilities. So pretty dangerous top side of the map. And then we have Mega Smolder scaling in the bottom side, obviously. Big flank potential. They do have the tools, though, to lock down the Ahri in the mid and late game. Meanwhile, you know, part of the problem that they're going to encounter is that who kills Smolder, right? You know, you can fight front to back, but this is hard. You can't really get through the Nautilus, Aatrox, Nico because of the crowd control. So Ahri flanks maybe. But it seems pretty hard to access the Smolder and put pressure on him in the late game.
It's just about like how easy does he have necessarily access to the backline. Maybe he takes more of like a peeling role and actually just works with Blackett to make sure that he stays alive because the kick is a very effective disengage tool. But then how effective is it against things like Ahri that can like dash across multiple...
Do you watch the LCS trash as I promised yesterday? I haven't watched the Cloud9 versus Shopify game yet, guys. That might be a tomorrow project. I decided to watch the very entertaining actual banger FPX versus JDG series.
To see how things play out. I'm not entirely
in current history with teams like BDS. Fnatic not getting there is only a disappointment, so it has to be a better spring. It has to start here because Team Heretics, I mean, as we saw in their recent game, we saw that Team Heretics that we kind of talked
Which
about in spring.
Denny Villeneuve movies are you watching on 4Play? Arrival, Prisoner, Sicario, and Dune.
I look at this team and I go, well, mid-jungle's not going to be slow control. It feels like that is where the Barney is going to start. There's going to be a lot of gauge tools in the early game.
I feel like that mid-jungles on both sides are pretty strong. You've got a lot of setup from both Nico and Ahri, and then the follow-up potential damage is very real. Heretics, of course, looking to get some early vision already. They would drop the ward on the red buff to see where Razork is starting. When I think of Razork, he is a jungler that likes to do things early. His path
Volibear is one of, you know, Razork and Elyoya's signature picks. So kind of fun to see him back, especially El Yoya, actually. I think about early El Yoya rookie season. I think a lot about Volibear.
That's a good engage though by Jun. He gets a double knockdown as Trimby gets ignited straight away. Noah on the ghost, but for Team Heretics, they're converging on this location. Spyro doesn't walk in, so at least some damage done. But for Trimby and Flacken, look at the timing in lane. 1 minute 38.
Yeah, pretty bad for Trimby to take that much damage early on.
Them now trying to walk into Heretics' side of the map.
That's a good engage though by Jun. He gets a double knockdown as Trimby gets ignited straight away. Noah on the ghost, but for Team Heretics, they're converging on.
I see them now trying to walk into Heretics' side of the map.
That's a good engage though by Jun. He gets a double knockdown.
Very good engage by Jun, actually.
Noah on the ghost, but for Team Heretics, they're converging on this location.
That is a big balls play, by the way, because Razork isn't there, and Yankos is doubling back, and Humanoid is walking backwards. This you could easily say how this could go very badly. I mean, Noah has to use Ghost just because the threat of the collapse from this side is scary.
Spyro doesn't walk in, so at least some damage done. But for Trimby and Flacken, look at the timing in lane. 1 minute 38 on the top of your scoreboard. They're going to have to walk to lane pretty low here.
Yeah, they're cautious about Noah and Jun moving up into that bush in the lane. And, as you rightly said, they're going to have to take the long way around. They're going to be late to the farm. They're likely going to lose a bit of...
That is a very risky invade, though. That could have easily gone super wrong, I think, for Fnatic.
Some of the champions in game here, VDS. Ones like, you know, Shyvana's son down in the bottom lane.
Stop.
The daughter as well of Lilia.
Stop it.
Sorry, that's actually the mother, I think.
You're creating a fictional canon that doesn't exist.
It could, though.
I mean...
When do we get the superhero movies in Fort Play? I think we could put together like 4 decent superhero movies for Fort Play. That's not outrageous. X-Men First Class and X-Men, especially X-Men Days of Future Past, are both very good. Like, legitimately good movies.
Stop it, okay?
The original Superman movies, the Christopher Reeve Superman, are not bad. Those are pretty fun.
Every time he presses that
There
button,
are thousands of dragons in the world
and only
of
one
Runeterra.
we know of.
What are you talking about? There's Infernal Drake, there is Cloud Drake,
but they don't
there
have
is
names.
Hextech Drake. They have names.
Imagine your name is Welshman. You know?
Well, it's not my fault that League chooses
Mystery
not-
Men, please. We've talked about Mystery Men. Richard watched it again recently and said it doesn't hold up very well.
They're just lambs to the slaughter.
I haven't seen it since it came out, so I have fond memories of it, and the cast is obviously very good, but apparently it's just not good.
It means that Noah wants to base and Jun doesn't want to go back yet, so he's looking for a play on the map. Razork looking for an invade, knowing how strong he is, has push in both top and mids. Oscar Renin is going to
Blade is good.
down to help him secure this objective. And Yankos doesn't have the support to do anything. Is he going to try and steal?
Well, a Sonic Wave is easy to get with a smite, but to get it past Oscar in, I don't think so. Good attempt. Nice attempt. Razork, good face tanking at least. And again, we see a Volibear just invading the enemy jungle. There's such a strong jeweler early on. I think that's what we kind of forgot, not seeing him in the meta for a while. Sky Splitter has huge shield, huge AP damage at level 1. And no one wants to face off.
Now, our observers are highlighting for us, but both Scuttle Crabs secured for Fnatic because Razork taking the top one. They know exactly where Yankos is. They had that window in the bot side of the map to move into the river and secure that objective. And Fnatic off to a great start. We talked about how Razork loves to do things in the early game. He clears his bot side, takes his Raptors, and then immediately, with the pressure that he has, creates an invade. And then
Yep, I'm going to have to go deal with a screaming 3-year-old. I'll be back, guys. Sorry. Well, that was fun, guys. Sorry about that. Appreciate your patience.
To support him.
Let's get back into it.
Very solid
Yeah, it gets
team
fine. Don't worry about it.
Fnatic.
Just
They've already built up a 5
small
goal
children
lead.
meltdown
They've
things. It's
seen
okay.
top and jungle role. And this is overall, I've been impressed with Fnatic this split. I feel like that they've grown pretty significantly from what we saw from them in winter. Of course, it is only the regular season, but we think back to winter. Oscar did not have a good playoffs. He really was struggling.
Yeah, usually my viewership spikes in the chair stream moments.
Wasn't the best either. Now it feels like that everyone is playing on all 4 cylinders as Razork looks for a dive in top lane.
Yeah, speak of one of them, right? I mean, Razork diving this. This is the start for Wonder, the flash for Flash, and as the Bear Claws come out now, Oscar in for the slide.
Very nicely played by Fnatic.
Good night, isn't it? Oscar in with first blood, and that's one way to start off a game.
No TP available for Wonder. Look at that huge wave which is lost in the top lane.
Massive wave
So
lost in the
much
top side.
just disappear into the void. And Oscar
And a plate
not gonna
too
have
with
full
Demolish.
control. He's
Woo,
gonna
sexy.
go level 6 very soon.
Or is he gonna get 2
Wonder now
plates?
finds himself in a very serious
1,000 gold lead for the
Always ties
Renekton.
back, right?
Wow.
You help your jungler helps you. Razork, level 5, knows the top side of the map. There's no camps. There's no reason for Jankos to be here. The stacked wave is primed and ready. They set up the dive, and they make the dive work. Very well played from Fnatic in this early game. Heretics with the cross map are going to secure the dragon for themselves. Pretty much the best case scenario for them. But Jankos finds himself behind. The top now finds himself
Leave
behind
my
as well.
lane. Shouldn't flash engage. Pop Blossom up. That slows down time. Tangle Bars might turn into a kill for the forward kick. Jankos not finding too much. Of course, it was just a Sonic Wave as Ignite goes down onto Jun, but a Shattering Strike gets him out of there. Humanoid also alive. Man, Jun just lives here, but this time at least Jankos is on time to punish.
Here's Razork.
Sviru bought a lot of time for Jankos to turn this one around. Razork, though, no flash, looking for something.
No ulti either, might slow the play down. Tribute with the dredge line gets on out as Jun is thinking about the re-engage. Humanoid.
All ends up being
He still doesn't have 6 for the dive.
going down on either side. Razork moves again into the top side once again, and Jankos realizes there's nothing he can do. Volibear showing this game and the previous one how strong he is in the early game.
Yep.
It's just the W that gives you so much power. Gonna tick over to level 6, and they're gonna dive him again.
Stormbringer time. Okay, turret about to turn off for a predetermined period of time. Doesn't even need it. Doesn't even need it. I mean, this is a nightmare for Wonder.
I mean, it is. It's a nightmare that he wishes he could wake up from, but unfortunately for him, the reality is just as scary. Level 5 isn't able to tick over to level 6. 3 plates taken over in the top lane. The grub's now going to be secured for Razork, and this top side of the map, what can Jankos even do?
Well, nothing with Jun now on the move as well. Jankos a level behind. He's going to try look for the steal, walking forward. No, he didn't actually find that in the end with the smite. That was Razork who picks up 2. Now for Jankos, just wants the remnants, want this first grub so that he can get a smite down. But
Razork has ult, remember.
you're right, he can kill him. Is it going to be worthwhile? Jankos
Oh my god.
bring it on down, and that damage hurts. PT has
He's
already
really going hard on that.
out.
Lee Sin doesn't have kick.
Meanwhile, Mummy comes to the bottom side because Flacker just throws her out, but Razork looking for Jankos yet again. Wonder's now joined the party. Humanoid coming up. I believe he has Spirit Rush available once again. No one dies in the end, but Razork just affirming how strong he is in the jungle.
Jankos gets away with murder there. Steals a grub. Is able to
Love my content. Thank you very much. Should have a new power rankings out later this week.
Ancient thunder god will exist in the hearts of Heretics as Razork makes his presence known in the top side of the map. What can I mean? You look at the
Razork doesn't have ult, but I guess he just doesn't care. There's enough damage right now. Eclipse is already finished for Oscar and in.
I think Jankos is going to get there in time. The problem is Humanoid is now
Wonder's so poor.
Trying to say
And Humanoid's here.
well, 3 versus 2.
Jankos doesn't have 6.
Off the world ender out. Humanoid gets
Charm.
the though, nicely
Yeah,
done.
he's dead.
Wonder
Oh, he's
does
not
the
dead?
They haven't finished the job. Razork without the Stormbringer makes this a messy dive. Sonic Wave
Uh-oh.
also
Zuiru's here. He's got flash.
damage factor as here comes a very sus minion. Charm
He's
doesn't connect.
level 5 though.
Wonder who that is. Well, Nico's gonna fly in. Razork
Oh, he's level 7. Okay, I was like, that's weird.
starts it off. The world ender out. Humanoid gets the
Why is he 2
charm
levels below
nicely.
Humanoid with the same CS?
problem is Humanoid is now joining the party.
Trying to see if Oscarinen has ult as well. 3 versus 2, as you said. Spirit Rush starts it off. The World Ender out. Humanoid gets the charm, though. Nicely done. Wonder does have healing, though, and they haven't finished the job. Razork, without the Stormbringer, makes this a messy dive. Sonic Wave also has its own damage.
Takes a huge amount of damage coming back through that.
Sus minion. Charm doesn't connect. I wonder who that is. Well,
He's trying just to trade 1-for-1. He actually nearly succeeds in killing Yankos there.
Team Heretics are probably laughing at that one.
They finally get a punish onto the aggression of...
Did you see Yamato's voice of Yamato where he said you and Doa and Faker are the reasons LCK got so big in the West? Which voice of Yamato was that one?
means that they don't actually have enough damage to kill Wonder. And it
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It was mostly, you know, Faker helped a little bit, but if we're being honest, it was mostly MonteCristo.
We look back at this dive. Humanoid commits the first use of his ultimate. And then what Razork
Something tells me Faker had a bigger impact on that than I did.
Bit of an interrupt. Oscarinen then feels like he has to disengage because he doesn't have any damage left.
Huh? How do we get here? Spyro flashes over the wall. Jordan is once again putting in the legwork on that metal horse. But Spyro does have to burn a flash to get out, which is part of the engage tool. Betty, even though Fnatic have the early game here, if we take stock, it's a 3k gold lead, but I mean, that topside dive.
Did you / would you ever do a VOD review of the semifinals and finals of Worlds 23? I did VOD reviews of every single Worlds game in 2023, guys.
How well can you keep Blackhead alive? And Oscarinen...
Faker only started playing League because he wanted to be casted by you. Technically, I did predate Faker. And he told me privately, he came up to me and he said, Monty, I wanted to become a professional League of Legends player simply so you could describe my greatness. That's what he said.
Him and Nasa's just guys that like reading books and don't want anyone to touch them.
No, I do believe that they are in fact gods, or ascended, if nothing else.
Yeah.
They're one of them.
Zerath is just some guy who went into like a mechanic op shop and just picked up all the parts. Team Heretics are once again getting dope, and guess what? It's Wonder again. Holy moly, can someone give him a break? Went into like a mechanic op shop and just picked up all the parts. Team Heretics are once again getting dope, and guess what? It's Wonder again.
Just getting chain CC'd under the turret. No Volibear ult necessary again.
0 and 3, leave him alone.
No, is their answer to that.
Which is probably smart.
He is not allowed to play League of Legends today. 30 CS down.
Then Mad Life at all of Korea clapped. Yep, you got it.
2.2k the gold deficit. Dragon is available, but the resets have actually come through from Fnatic.
Faker also privately dedicated his first World Championship win to me, guys.
Ari's ultimate was used, but they still have a few available. Yankos has managed to catch up a little bit in terms of experience, but you look at the bottom.
And he said, Monty, thank you for believing in me. Without your faith, I would not have won my first world title.
Only 11 minutes in.
We didn't even get to talk about bot side. There's about a 15 CS lead in bot as well for the Zeri that, you know, we're talking about Team Heretics trying to buy time for Flacken on this Smolder. Zeri is Smolder 0.5 or Smolder is Zeri 2.0, I'm not sure.
It's one of the
Oscar in 2 levels up. This game is crazy.
Look at this down bot. Razork and
It's such a dominant performance, and Razork just now turning his attention to getting Flacked pretty far behind
Good too, as they find another plate in bot.
onto the Smolder. And his huge leads across the board. Feeling probably pretty good for Fnatic, but they have to convert this Renekton lead into a lot of objectives.
He could show up anywhere on the map. He has that unleashed teleport at his disposal. There's nothing that Wonder can do in this matchup. You look at the itemization difference, and you could say that Oscarinen is eclipsing him in terms of itemization. Dragon
All right,
spawn.
Betty, I'll see you later.
Dragon.
Good one.
Medic would be proud. Dragon gonna be secured for Fnatic.
They can go get 5 grubs and get grub buff off of this. Okay, 4 grubs. 5 grubs. It feels amazing for Fnatic. What an excellent early game.
Series.
There you go.
Only looking better coming into this split.
Well,
I mean,
they do have analyst extraordinaire Trimby, you know, from Winter. It always helps going from analyst to pro player.
I mean, that is on the side of Heretics, of course, yeah. We're still trying to figure out if they're better or not, because, I mean, that's my biggest question.
Faker also had a Worlds drought until Monty returned to League. All I'm going to say, guys, is the following statement. Faker has never won the World Championship in a year that I was not living in Korea.
Because for Team Heretics, I mean, they're the ones that have made the changes to
I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just going to put that out there.
Man, how are they going to look this split? Because without Perks, who didn't have the greatest winter, but has a huge history over the course of LCS, LEC, with a lot of success throughout, how are they going to bring this rookie in and try and achieve similar results? We can talk about that later. There's his answer. Good tangle bob over the course of LCS, LEC, with a lot of success throughout. How are they going to bring this rookie in?
Humanoid has Flasher, by the way, and ult up, and he still gets caught by this pick. It's a good pick. It's a good pick because he is the melee minion at the start of the wave, so Humanoid actually can't count it in time. Very nicely played.
There you go. Spyro comes in with a really good setup for Team Heretics.
I think that's why Nico can be a really good matchup into Ari, just because of the amount of chain CC you have to set up for your jungler. Jankos there with a quick follow-up. They find a pick. Unfortunately for them, I don't know if they can convert it into a huge amount. They're looking at that bot's tier 1 right now. The tower is still very healthy, though. Jun and Razok are forcing their way in.
Trying to get anything at this point in terms of gold bounties.
Way down. TPs are available.
Flash Magnet Storm comes through. Spyro
Yeah, unfortunately, Zwairu already used his sums and his rocket belt, so not a lot you can do there.
2 minutes, so that TP isn't going to be available. And now you've left Humanoid Ice already winning out in the 3 versus 3.
Wait, they just leave?
Everyone down here. Dragon going to be spawning in 2 minutes, so that TP isn't going to be available.
They just leave and make a TP play with Wonder? Oh, man. I like how Humanoid dies and then TP's in and then dies again. Classic.
The over-ambition of Fnatic bot.
I mean, a really nice... Maybe the old Dragon going to be spawning.
And Fnatic are like, go.
A little excessive.
So,
I feel,
I'm not even sure why we're recalling here, guys. Are we recalling... You know, you have this area in the mid lane. Are we recalling to make a Herald play? Why not just take this turret? Like, they literally just leave Humanoid alone here.
He does have his ulti available, I believe, with Flash there too. He burns that first. Maybe the ulti's just off cooldown. There we go.
I guess they were recalling to go take Herald.
Then double TPs
setting up some of these picks.
So they were trying to make a Herald play, and it's a split call by Fnatic, and they leave Humanoid there. Just a little bit greedy on the recall timing. They could have gotten the turret and still gotten Herald.
With the Dragon practice stacks that now puts it into an arc. We're waiting for less than 100 more that give it the execute. And we've seen already, I mean, Smolders can win fights. They can 1v3, 1v4. At 3 item mark on top of the execute, like, some of those Qs can destroy the backline. And for Fnatic, you know, we're talking about an Ari, a Zeri that want to get into the fight, want to get into range. One miss execute, and Flacket has their number with the cleanse.
He does turn things around. Aatrox is also just a champion that I think does scale very well. I think the more items he gets, the more he can definitely do cooldowns. He gains so much value from.
True.
And his presence.
Kind of a weird build, though, because you're going Sundered Sky, Aatrox this game instead of Profane Hydra, so you're not actually going lethality. He's much more of an HP tank. Which, to be fair, in this game, where he might have to be much more of a frontliner, like, he actually probably just wants to run frontline interference against Volibear and Renekton rather than flanking here. Because he has the Smolder who will stack up to 225, so I think it's probably more valuable for him to get tankier and just serve as a frontliner.
So it will once again go to Fnatic. Mountain Soul, by the way, folks. One more to the list here for Fnatic as they pick up this.
Actually, see that work.
He probably thinks, he's trying to be clever.
But yeah, so Oscar in. And, you know, I'm the person that probably falls for Nico the most.
Oh, really?
As in, like, earlier I saw Smolder in mid, and I was like, oh, they put Smolder mid. And then I was like, nope, that's Nico. When she first came onto the Rift, I was falling for it every time.
You know what bothers me so much coming through? Just show me Nico.
Setting up for this mid tier 1. As Humanoid pushes out this wave, you can rotate with his team back up towards mid, start chipping away at the tower. They have the Herald. They've chosen not to throw it down just yet, but this is very clearly...
Smolder's at I think it says 165. It's kind of small.
Continues to round up, working towards that second item.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close, though. It's more like a 25-minuter, probably. Did I watch the G2 game? Yes, I already watched it.
Once again.
These 2 items, by the way, Sundered Sky just picked up.
Now look, we find that
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of these Smolder games. I just think it's boring because now we're just opting into like scaling handshakes in the bot side, and it's just
You're
dull.
seeing it on your screen right now. You can just buy so much time. The WQ combo is such an effective wave clear tool. Fnatic are forcing their way into the bot side jungle. There's no wave in mid to fight over, so they're assisting Humanoid as he pushes out bot, looking for a potential pick. They may have found
Flash,
it.
Magnet Storm, double shattering strike. Trimby tries to stop the rest of the cavalry coming through. Yankos has the safeguard out. No summoners burnt though. Fnatic tried to find a pick. They used the flash engage and ignite from Jun for that.
I would imagine. I'm actually very surprised that they're using the Herald bot. I would have imagined that they use that pressure and the health advantage to then rotate over to mid to then unlock that tower, but they're very committed to securing this tier 2 in the bot lane. The Herald's going to take it down to about half.
Look at all the family around it though. I mean, they've got 5 grubs for a reason. Noah now setting up. It's
That tower, but they're very committed to
That's
securing
cute.
this tier 2 in the bot lane. The Herald's going to take it down to about half.
Look at all the family around.
I mean, they're trying to use Nico to actually get back into this game, and Noah does not know that Nico is there. That's very funny.
Oh my lord! I think he was disguised there.
He was
Otherwise,
disguised as a minion.
That's so. I mean, Zweiru's doing well this game of making creative plays to try and get him back into it.
By surprise. Excellent acting skills. We just had the Oscars.
family around.
And the health.
He didn't count.
Double shattering strike. Trimby
I mean, I'm not sure. I think it's super reasonable to have counted in that situation.
Lord.
Herald's going to take it down to about half.
Look at all the family around it though. I mean, they've got
Right?
5 grubs for a reason. Noah now setting.
He's kind of just in a clump of other melee minions.
Oh my lord! I think he was disguised there.
He was
Otherwise,
disguised as a minion, and he
Again.
thought he was in a 1v1. The Nico catching another by surprise. Excellent acting skills. We just had the Oscars. Unfortunate for Zvyro, because he would have won a nomination for that. Look at this. So he turns into a minion, takes the front of the queue. Now, if you're
count.
counting those, but Noah's looking at bot lane right now.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I see a skirmish on the bot side of the map.
True.
And he's still not counting. So to him, it just looks like another set.
It's a little hard to count them quickly, right?
Oh wow.
Throws the ultimate out, catches Noah completely off guard. Impressive stuff.
It's picks like that. We keep
I
talking
mean, they
about
just
it.
laugh, right? They have to laugh.
Because what else would you do? Like, oh man, that's rough. I mean, props to Spyro. It was two ganks now, I think, that again have given picks over to team. And Anna. Hey, is it Casey? Look a lot better. Than
Problem is the Mountain Soul coming up is
use the word again. A bit of a Barney is Fnatic.
very dangerous.
That dragon is loud. Shyvana, turn it down. Bit of sneezing on the rift on the side as well. Flack it. It's kind of weird that a champion has that.
I'd be very upset with you.
I don't care. There's no way that they release Zyra and Khan, they release the lovers, right? Is there any dragon? There's
No.
2 dragons on the
Two
rift.
reductionists
Aurelion
for
Soul could
me.
be the father. Yeah, which one?
The Mountain Dragon.
Okay.
An avenue of access into the river. The mid wave is being contested. Humanoid Heretics actually moving towards the top side of the map. They didn't want to cross map this to that top tower. Question mark pings on whether or not Humanoid is sitting in that brush.
Yeah. But I mean, he has ulti available. He's got flash as well. Yankos might come up here, but Humanoid sees it coming. Good charm. Orb doesn't matter. Team Heretics just wants some objective bounty gold, while Soul Point is now achieved by Fnatic. How much is this gold going to mean? Because I guess you got the Smolder, but again, they're still trailing behind in gold massive.
Blackett.
Just about. For Team Heretics, the kickback though is too early. Jun also flashes away, but that Sonic Wave is illegal! Yeah. Good pick. Hang on, Sonic Wave as well. Dredgeline knock up. This is great. For Team Heretics, the kickback though is too early. Jun also flashes away, but that Sonic
I can't believe he gets that Sonic Wave down.
Kickback though is too early. Jun
That is crazy.
also flashes away, but that
Because that gives him the opportunity to actually go in off of that and pick up a kill.
Sin, baby. As Mum doesn't do anything in the back line, but the Pop Blossom might. Team Heretics, the kickback though is too early. Jun also flashes away, but that Sonic Wave is illegal.
I think he thinks this is actually Smolder too. Oh no, he doesn't. He can't think it's. Oh, actually he does because he doesn't see the ult yet. I don't think from Smolder. So he may think that is actually Smolder.
As Mum doesn't do anything in the back line, but the Pop Blossom might. The knockup's good. Zyru sets up for another Oscar and in the back line too. A double root while Smolder.
225 stacks is here.
Open the wings, sending out the breath, spitting on them all.
Oh god, he got the shutdown.
The rest of it, and Team Heretics bide their time once again in a game.
And now it's just Baron. Jesus.
Fnatic can't lock down a
That's so absurd.
225 stacks now secured.
There you go.
By Flackett.
Casual 5K gold lead
Calm down.
just evaporates because Smolder just hit 225 stacks.
Good pick. Hang on, Sonic Wave as well. Dredgeline knock up. This is great.
I mean, it's good that they take advantage of the situation where it's just Jun and Razork.
Facto is too early.
And Zweiru is very tricky.
Sonic Wave is
I legitimately think they thought this was the real Smolder because they don't see the ult coming in yet by the time the engage goes down with the charm and the ultimate from Razork. But Flackett actually gets a huge flank onto the backline as a result of this because all their engage goes over here and then they get pop blossomed. Right? And Flackett's able to do a bunch of damage straight over the wall. Now he gets a free flank where he can apply Q on top of everybody. EE's out. It's a perfect positioning for the Smolder.
carrying the rest of it, and Team Heretics bide their time once again. And hang on, Sonic Wave as well. Dredgeline.
He transformed on top of a ward.
Heretics, the kickback, though, is too
Yeah.
early. Jun also flashes away, but
That's true, but the thing is that they probably just got distracted by this because they don't know where Smolder actually is on the map.
right. But Team
And obviously Razork is probably looking up here right now.
Heretics, the kickback, though, is too early.
And so they don't know necessarily where the Nico went, even though they do see that the Nico was CCing them over the wall.
Good pick. Hang on, Sonic Wave as well. Dredgeline knock up. This is great.
But
Team Heretics-
it can be a mistake, guys, but I do just think that they probably thought that that was Smolder. Otherwise, obviously, you don't double dash at him if you think there's a pop blossom coming through. Lighthead TV, thank you. Any primers?
As Mum doesn't do
Just
anything
you,
about
buddy.
the line, but the pop blossom might, the
Nobody
knock
wants to give me their Bezos bucks. It's tragic.
into the back line too. A double root while Smolder's doing the thing. Flapping the wings, sending out the breath, spitting on them all. Flackett carrying the rest of it, and Team Heretics bide their time once again and again.
Did they throw the lead for a Grump? Yep, they sure did.
Knock up. This is just about. I see 2-2-2 for this.
They got horny for Grump, guys.
There we go. There we go. In the future, eh? Good pick. Hang on, Sonic Wave as well.
Did they have to do Grump?
This is great.
Absolutely not.
The kickback though is too early. It's up for another lift of it. TLO.
dominating this Gromp throughout the entire game, but now they say not today. Initial pick onto Jun, then the re-engage comes through, but look, they can't actually lock down Spyro. That means that Razor gets focused down. The flank from Oscarinin, his target is changing multiple times from Spyro to Yankos to whoever he can hit. Then a great re-engage from Wonder. That flash was beautiful onto both Noah and Humanoid to lock his target up. A win to allow them to win
Mad Cope.
the fight.
Should be cheering for his life. I mean, this new Team Heretics. But Team Heretics is interesting. Then you the Humanoid has flash available. The West has found Humanoid. Spirit Rush out. Yankos is playing with him.
Ever, it was dominated by Razor, but a single fight was all very similar between the two top laners. Wonder level 16, pushing down that
Power play. Gonna have to work that out. 3K top left if anyone could use their eyes but me.
I feel like the Heretics comp just has so much damage, you know? Like, Humanoid does have that great initial pick potential, but once that initial burst is gone, if he's not getting those resets on the ult, then it becomes hard for him to really contribute that much else. Noah, of course, yes, can be a powerhouse in the fights, but you're dealing with Wonder, Spyro, and Flackhead who all just have like a lot of well, I say consistent. Spyro provides so much zone control in the fight that we look back at that previous fight, the moment the re-engage comes through from Razor, Humanoid was zoned off because he didn't want to get hit by that ulti, and that actually bought enough time for Heretics to then get that kill onto Razor. No Baron left, but the Dragon spawning in 20 seconds.
All right, it's still potentially salvageable, but it's going to be really difficult now that the gold lead is there. And like, I don't know how they get Volibear and Renekton onto the Smolder. Like, who is supposed to kill the Smolder? How do you get through the front line? Oh, he built Profane Hydra second after Sundered Sky. Interesting.
Close to half HP. Red buff gonna help with that, but still you just see what
I thought he might have gone for a more frontline bruiser build.
looks like now that this dragon is stacked up. Dragon
Like
begins, and for Fanatic, if they can
Sundered Sky into Sterix, which is what Lee Sin has, what Yankos has.
flank is gonna get spotted out by Wonder, while Team Heretics are taking it nice and slow.
Heretics buying time. Fanatic looking for course, aware of the flank from Jun. Oscar hanging on the back, and Wonder's keeping him at bay. Flacker trying to assist Wonder there. Nice Q. Oscar now 50% HP.
Well, he might actually die here. I mean, getting slowed down. Wonder absorbs the damage.
Nice
Flash over from
flash.
Trimby.
At bay, Flacker trying to assist Wonder there. Nice Q. Oscar now 50% HP.
Well, he might actually die here. I mean, getting slowed down. Wonder absorbs the damage.
Nice
Flash over
flash.
from Trimby.
Yeah, very nice by Trimby. And look at that.
At bay, Flacker trying to assist
Zwyru's been really good on this Nico this game, guys.
HP.
Credit to him.
Die here. I mean, getting slowed down. Wonder absorbs the damage.
Nice
Flash over from
flash.
Trim.
I mean, starts channeling it, flashes over, hits the 3-man straight into Smolder ult.
With the Dragon of the East in
He dead. He pop.
He has his eyes set on Oscar Rinnin. Flacker over the wall.
He pop now.
execute. Once
Pop,
again,
pop, 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 pop.
Flacker will
It was such a great love that initiate makes the call. Wait, we can actually turn on him. My team is close enough, and then they are not.
Yeah.
At all as the rest
I
of
mean,
the team
Zwyru's making some very creative Nico plays. He's certainly a big factor into why they've come back into this one, right?
swings in their favor. What feels like the first time this game.
Stalfos 25.
Smolder to be highlighted as he picks up his Leandro
This
in the
minute,
fourth
I am big raccoon. Very good.
item in most cases, but Leandro's been here and
Thank you for
there.
resubscribing with Prime. I appreciate it.
Passive damage getting elongated is such a pain. As now as we group up towards mid, I mean, Fnatic are trying to... This is the problem! A great engagement as Blacker gets locked on down. He's already killed so many people. Damage getting elongated is such a pain. As now as we group up towards mid, I mean, Fnatic are trying to pick... They look so desperate here, but as Trimby...
I mean, they pull Trimby into that.
He says, how do you like me? Fnatic are trying to pick... They look so desperate here, but as Trimby hooks it... As now as we group up towards mid, I mean, Fnatic are trying to pick... They look so desperate here, but as Trimby...
Trimby hooks in, ults volley, Q down from Smolder onto volley. They all go in, get Pop Blossom. Nobody can kill Flackid because they can't get to the back line. Humanoid goes pop, pop, pop. Oh, they finally got him, guys.
Killed so many people. A triple kill
It's too bad it cost them absolutely everything.
is all we have left. That was the best Fnatic could do. Now as this Renekton tries to fight it out, I just don't think he has it in him. Going away, slice and dice. Baron is like, what the heck is happening here?
Chains. There we go. All right.
And even though
The return hook. Frustration. Currently standing on a ward hook.
Dredge line again, Razork knocked on up, and you can just see this damage. Stormbringer's
Thing is, Volibear's pretty useless in the late game, guys.
doesn't even get to talk to the bear.
He is not very strong or useful
As well.
late. You have to get those early game advantages.
Some sort of miracle happen. This is Heretics' game to lose. An impressive bounce back from them. It was a tough early game, but just like we saw in the previous one, they found their bounce back. And they're looking good.
I think Nautilus needs to be bad. 2 games in a row. I think the angle in securing a victory in this game.
It was very much about top lane fight that we saw. There wasn't any backline threat. Oscar TP'd onto the backline. Threats on the side of the success for a set
Through bot that have now led them through this mid lane turret push. The punishment of Fnatic.
is viral.
Find out in a second. Turret just falls down by itself.
About 50 seconds.
Okay, not bad. I remember growing up, you know, calling out for mum. It was a 30-second cooldown max.
How do you balance Smolder? You can't. Because they want him to be a noob champ, so they can't make stacking too difficult because it takes noobs too long. So he just is going to be giga powerful at the professional level when they can stack very quickly. I mean, it's very clear that professional players should not be allowed to stack to 225 by 21 or 22 minutes into the game, guys.
Kind of just getting push off the last piece of the Baron. 10 seconds till it expires. Another good 3K-ish Baron power play.
End this game. Thunder as well. We think about how devastating his early game was. Q's can do
Disguise himself slow.
right now, but
Very slow closeout here, but they just don't want any flanks onto Flackid,
Very loud.
ruining this game.
The knockup comes through. Trippy re-engages though. Spyro's taking all the damage.
Wow, Flackid actually just walks into Razork's stun? What?
Fnatic definitely going to feel the aftereffects of this Jud.
Why are...
Storm again. Very loud.
Like, they're trying to... He's trying to go onto Noah, so he flaps up here, but Razork just flash stuns him.
But as the kick from Yankos comes back,
Whatever, I guess he has arm guard, so it doesn't matter.
Noah's still alive. Scary moment, ladies and gentlemen, but is Smolder too much? You have to ask. No. Oscar Rinnan sends him to the deep end. That little baby dragon now
I don't understand why we don't just fight front to back. You know what I mean? Why are we committing suicide on Smolder?
Wow, some very fancy feet coming out from Fnatic, and that amount of damage that they did onto him initially was enough to keep him away. Loses. He is that minion getting close, trying to catch the opponents off guard. The engage from Jun, and then look at that, 50% HP gone. He's now forced to retreat immediately. The fight is a 3 versus 4 as Oscarinin is keeping Wonder busy on the sides. And so they can actually play this front to back. Zeri is left largely untouched on the back line.
Flack and Zwyroo didn't have a chance to do anything that fight.
Age from Jun, and then look, Fnatic had a lot more freedom, so keep your eyes on Zwyroo here. And look at how much health he loses. He is that minion getting close, trying to catch the opponents off guard. The engage from Jun, and then look at that, 50% HP gone. He's now forced to retreat immediately. The fight is a 3 versus 4 as Oscarinin is keeping Wonder busy on the sides. And so they can actually play this front to back. Zeri is left largely untouched on the back line. Flacket loses a lot of HP. Oscarinin finally gets on top.
Oh, the Nico ult. He's so afraid because he doesn't want to die.
Connect onto anyone. Very well played fight from Fnatic.
Just picked up Baron.
Baron early, it's still 2 minutes.
Remember that execute there as he burns down Sterak's Gage, buys him time, but Oscarinin's going to have to TP back with that.
No one can really reach from Fnatic. Plant!
Oh, okay.
To the right targets. Keep your eyes on Flacket here. Trapped in the pit rather, but does of course have his E to get to safety. Where is Spyro? He's a plant!
Oh, okay. He's thinking for the time being. Pop Blossom is there. As he goes golden, he finds Humanoid over the wall, and Mum helps out, but Spyro is in the middle, and 2 is dead, but the burn down! They try so hard to get the Flacket, but look at him go! He's 12 years old, and he's taken on God! Jun runs in. Everyone runs in.
They just have such a hard time getting on Flacket if he doesn't just step up and get like fucking flash stunned by volley.
Too strong. And 2 is dead, but the burn down. Spyro, he's a plant! Onto the right targets. Keep your eyes on
This is pretty clever
trapped in the pit.
by Zwyroo just pretending to be a honey fruit there.
Where is Spyro?
Razo just goes up and autos him.
Oh, okay. Thinking for the time being. Pop Blossom is there. As he goes
He does get Humanoid over the wall. That's pretty good.
Humanoid over the wall, and Mum helps out, but
Yanko's also hero play of this fight.
Spyro is in the middle, and 2 is
Getting back onto Noah. That's absolutely huge. Just chucking him into Smolder and Aatrox.
taken on God!
Huge play by Yankos.
Everyone runs in, but all he is left.
It around, but it was not enough. They're gonna hand another kill over to Flacket. 13, 2 and 5. Big smiles on the faces of
Yeah, Aatrox and Lee were so much more useful later on, even after that early game. Yeah, but also, like, if they hadn't thrown the game for Gromp, like, they should have been able to transition that probably into a Baron. It's just the compositions, guys, made it very difficult. Like, Volley Renekton are really going to have a hard time having an impact with this much crowd control. You know, when you're playing into Nautilus, Nico, Lee Sin Kick, right? Aatrox in the front line, like, it is very, very hard, I think, to get into the back line onto Smolder. All right, guys, it's going to do it for today. Summoning Insight in 2.5 hours. So I will going to eat some dinner, and I will see you then, because I haven't done enough today, guys. And I'll be back for more streaming and Power Spike tomorrow. See you later.